Welcome everybody to the Agni Family Dental Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Tim Conti. Thank you for joining us Friday Night Live. It's good to be back with you after a little hiatus last week. We had a little technical glitch, you might say, with some paperwork, but we're back with you this week and glad to be bringing you the game on the live webcast. So thank you to Barrett Creative and Michael and company for getting us back up and running this week. And we have a good one for you. Welcome again, as I said, to the FHSAA Regional Semifinal here at Bryant Stadium. Your Lakeland Dreadnaughts taking on the Wiregrass Ranch Bulls from the Wesley Chapel area. Wiregrass comes in with a 9-2 record after beating Lake Nona in their first round last week. So they're hungry to come in and try to upset the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. And it would be an upset with number 1 Lakeland here playing, I believe, number 4 Wiregrass. So we'll see how this one plays out. We'll get to the details maybe a little bit later, but what we'd like to do is talk a little bit about last week for those that maybe followed on Twitter or got your news from somewhere else. It was an incredible game. It's one of those that I kind of wish we would have had the webcast for you because it would have been crazy. We would have been all over the place, maybe a couple of people passing out up here. It was an unbelievable game and not really knowing what to expect because I was away the first time the Naughts played Winter Haven. And, of course, most of you remember that Lakeland really separated themselves in that game, particularly in the second half, and just tacked on a ton of points. So maybe everyone was expecting that, hey, we would figure out these Winter Haven Blue Devils. We'd have their number, and it wouldn't be that much of a first-round game. The Blue Devils had something else to say about that as they changed up their quarterbacks a little bit. They came in with a 4-game winning streak and, in fact, gave the Dreadnaughts all that they could handle. I'm not sure what's going on the field right now, but we have the Lakeland High School Dreadnaught Marching Band lined up in back of me for the pregame. And again, welcome to the Agni Family Dental pregame show. It's great to, again, be with you in the second season, as we would call it. And you never know, again, when it's one and done kind of thing, you don't play well, you're out of here, and you don't come back. So for these seniors, they don't want this to be their last game, obviously, as a senior. And we talk about this a lot. For many of the seniors, it could be their last football game ever. Some of them move on to pursue different things in college, or they just don't pursue, certainly, athletics in college, where they're standouts in high school. So not everyone continues on that next level. So they would like to keep this part of the season going, and they're going to have to play better than they did last week against Winter Haven. So again, if you didn't kind of follow last week, what happened with the Blue Devils? Well, first out of the gate, it was tough getting those points on the board. But we were able to start with Jesse Williams. What a weapon. We've talked about Jesse Williams all season long. We had to try to get something going, so Jesse came in for a 47-yard field goal for the first points of the game last week, so we tacked on 3. Then, not too long later, the Winter Haven Blue Devils, in a struggle, managed to get in position to kick their own field goal, so they tacked on 3. So there we sat at 3-3 for quite a while. The Naughts then were able to punch finally through the end zone after a lot of turnovers in that game. We seemed to pick the ball off, a lot of interceptions, and then they seemed to get some fumble recoveries. And so just, I wouldn't say a sloppy game, but well defensed by the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. And 10-10 ended up being the score. So all of us started biting our nails up here saying, what's going on? This is where the Naughts were starting to separate themselves in the previous game against Winter Haven. We're just letting them hang around too long. And in fact, just in doing that, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts continued to let them stay 10-10 until the fourth quarter, when Winter Haven came alive on a 60-yard pass play and were able to kick a field goal and go up 13-10. So at that point, we didn't have much time left on the clock. The Lakeland Dreadnaughts were in fact in peril. So I was able to sit here and watch it as a fan last week and really look at different aspects of the game instead of being up here broadcasting. So I'm gonna say this: even though our offense didn't put a lot of points on the board, our defense played tremendously. I think they created a lot of those turnovers. At times, they really had Winter Haven offense guessing, and I think they really stood up when they needed to stand up. But still, the game was in peril going into the fourth quarter when we relied on some trickery, strategery, as George Bush would say, and we actually threw the ball over to Whitehead. And instead of running, which is very talented, Whitehead turned and passed a 44-yard pass to the 11th grader, Gadarian West, and scored a touchdown with about 40 seconds left for the Lakeland Dreadnaughts to go up. Let's listen to the national anthem. The Lakeland High School Dreadnaught Marching Band, who've had a fantastic season, and they've thrilled the crowds as we continue with the Agni Family Dental countdown to kickoff. So, as we said, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts really had to come from behind in the waning moments last week in the first round of the FHSAA Playoffs, and they did escape that win, obviously, against the Winter Haven Blue Devils, who were licking their chops late in that game. As you hear anchors away from the band coming off the field, we didn't think we were going to hear that again. So it's good to hear that, and we are here. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to take a brief timeout and give our sponsors some play, and we'll come back and set the table for this game against Wiregrass Ranch right here at Bryant Stadium. Stay with us.
Agni Family Dental truly is a family of doctors. We strive to give our patients a patient-first dental experience. Our goal at Agni Family Dental is to provide our patients with the highest level of comprehensive dental care and prevention. Every member of our team promises to put the needs and concerns of every patient first in every aspect of their dental care. Our family of doctors take a tooth-conservative approach to restorative dentistry with a special focus on sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and orthodontics. Call to schedule your appointment today and let our family of doctors change the way you look at dentistry.
Welcome back up here high in the press box at Bryant Stadium. We thank you for joining us here in the second round of the FHSAA Playoffs. This is the regional semifinal. And again, with the point system, a little bit different than what a lot of people are used to. They just pretty much line up 1 through 8. And in the first game, Winter Haven was 8 and we were 1. So 1 played 8 in that game, and then 4 and 5 played last week, Lake Nona and Wiregrass. And we, of course, are playing the winner of that game. And they're going to kind of continue that down, obviously, in the brackets and whittling that down until we get to the this regional champion. And then we'll move on, of course, hopefully from there. Great to have home field advantage. As many of you know, that's a huge 12th man benefit. And so the Lakeland coming in number 1 has had this home field. And hopefully next week we would as well if we can escape this win. Just a note, there will not be any Booster Club meeting coming up this Monday. So if you have gone to those, there will not be a Booster Club meeting, as obviously we have Thanksgiving holidays coming up, and we're certainly excited about wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving and a great week for those that have some time off. And so what to expect from Wiregrass Ranch coming in from the Wesley Chapel area, as we mentioned, a 9-2 record. They have one of those teams that with a couple skilled players, if those players are on, they can really disrupt another team. They have 1 or 2 players that are very highly touted. As a matter of fact, one of them is already committed to Penn State this year, and he plays offense, defense. If you don't keep mindful of where he is, and we'll be calling his name a lot, you may be in trouble. We've seen that a couple times when some of these Miami teams come up, where just one player just literally can take over a game and disrupt your game plan. So hopefully we can keep him at bay. I think what a lot of people are expecting for this game, and I've heard this throughout the week, is for the Lakeland offense to come alive a little bit. The defense, I think, has done their part. They've shown up. The Lakeland offense in the last 3 weeks, in my opinion, has kind of been lackluster, a little bit not what we've been expecting on the offensive side of the ball. We did hear from Jeff Goddard, and he is on his way. He will be here by game time, hopefully. So we're just kind of trying to fill in until that time, and we're not that far away from kickoff. Wiregrass has a very strong front. They have a very active and aggressive defense, so they use that 7-man front to hopefully on their end try to disrupt the Lakeland offense as well. And we don't know much about them offensively, although their quarterback, we hear, kind of can do it all, can run and pass as well, so the defense is going to have to be on their toes tonight. Never know quite what to expect. Not sure what Lakeland team we're going to get tonight, but we hope the Lakeland offense comes up and fired up, and I expect them to put a lot more points on the board than they have in the last 3 weeks. So we're excited to certainly look forward. We'd like to thank our press box sponsors, Marco's Pizza, tonight. I was reminded that they'll be open till midnight tonight. If you have that hankering for some pizza, they fed us before the game here, and we'd like to thank Marco's Pizza for being the press box sponsor tonight. So as Coach Castle continues to rack up his win total and his playoff win total, that is, he's looking to continue into the next, of course, regional finals game at Bryant Stadium here next week, hopefully. And so we've got some work to do tonight, and we look forward to getting action just underway as the runway to victory is set, and you can see the captains coming out, and very good reminder. We want to let you know that this game wouldn't be possible. It just doesn't happen as far as bringing the FHSAA playoff games. There are some requirements and some things you have to go through to bring these broadcasts, and one of them is a monetary figure that someone has to step up and sponsor the game. And so Young Life was so kind in sponsoring us last week, but obviously we were not able to bring you the game last week, so we just kind of pushed them to tonight. So we would like to, with our heartfelt sincerity, thank Young Life for sponsoring the game tonight, because we would not be here without someone stepping up and saying, hey, you know what, we want to bring that webcast to the masses, and we would like those that can't maybe make it here to Bryant Stadium to see the game. And we're thankful to Young Life and all that they do here in our local community. And thank you for being our sponsors tonight, Young Life. So if you are at home, whether you're up around the country in the state of Florida or internationally, we thank you again for joining us on this webcast. And the Naughts are still alive. We hope to stay alive tonight as well. So as we said, the captains are on the field now. As you can see, let me see who they are. Robert Madden, number 7, Whitehead, and number 2, we've got Jaquarius Smith, and then number 54, Robert Hardy, is out there as well for the coin toss as we have our pregame underway. A lot of different looks, of course, for the Naughts. If you followed us on the webcast, those eyes aren't deceiving you. Yeah, they have almost a different uniform every game. Love them tonight. You got to love the charcoal gray and black camo with the black pants, and of course the traditional helmet with the orange L. That is a sharp look. Now they just got to play like how they look, and we'll be in good shape. Hopefully with a little more vim and vigor tonight out of the gate. So we'll see who. There's the coin toss. As we bring it to you live. Looks like the Naughts win the coin toss again. That's a good sign. And Robert Madden's telling them what they'd like to defend. And the Dreadnaughts have deferred to the second half. They will be kicking off to Wiregrass Ranch in the south end zone. And we are just moments away from getting this one underway. Thanks again for joining us here in the FHSAA Regional Semifinal. Some different rules as we enter into the playoffs. And there is the cannon, and here come your Dreadnaughts. Thankfully, those last 40 seconds last week allowed us to continue and see that one more time, that great pregame like none other in high school football. Cannons, lots going on, as I believe I saw Mr. Jeff Goddard making his way up the steps here to join me for the kickoff. Beautiful evening, perfect mid-November fall night. Just enough of a breeze, but not too cold. From my understanding, I get some information, my assistant, Mandy Johnson, who recently was married to CJ Johnson, one of the Lakeland High School coaches. I kind of get to listen to what the talk at home is like with the coaches. And that week against Winter Haven, they said that they just didn't have a good practice. A lot of distractions going on. Didn't hear kind of what the practice was like this week, but we'll probably be able to tell that pretty quickly here as the Naughts set to kick off to Wiregrass at the 40-yard line. The weapon, Jesse Williams, loads the leg up, is ready to go. Strap in, everybody. And welcome again to the second round of the FHSAA Playoffs. The regional semifinal is underway. End over end. It's going to be caught at the 6-yard line. Off the right side, Wiregrass looking for a hole. Number 1 goes down at the 21. Nice tackle on special teams. Welcome, Jeff Goddard.
Tim, good to see you, partner.
Good to see you, my friend.
That's their big play guy right there, Jordan Miner, with the opening kickoff.
He's their everything guy.
Penn State commit.
That's right. We were saying kind of Wiregrass kind of goes as he goes on both sides of the ball.
They also have a good running back, I know, as well.
He is limping, though, interestingly enough. He's after that tackle, he's gingerly walking back to the line, so that's
watch out for number 8, Adrian Thomas. You see there in the backfield. He's their tailback. You see Miner back there and line up as the Wildcat quarterback from the first play tonight.
Spread offense. Miner, number 2, adjust in motion. Jacob Hill, number 8, goes to the outside. Miner takes off right side. He's going to pick up 5-6 yards before he's molested by about 5 Dreadnaughts.
It'll be interesting to see how early and how often they go to the Wildcat there with Miner.
They like to get him involved every way they can.
I'd imagine you'll see him catching some passes too, maybe out of the slot position.
Quarterback number 10, Grant Sessoms, in the shotgun position now. Adrian Thomas, number 8, flanked off to his left. No back set. 4 wide receivers and a defensive, or a tight end rather. Inside motion, they hand off on the sweep. Number 5 stops, tries to cut back. The Naughts are not fooled, and that'll lose a few yards. Good play defense.
Jason Hampton and Robert Madden made the tackle there, Tim.
Hampton
Robert Madden
all over it.
Yeah, he's had 2 tackles so far in the first drive here. But Robert Madden was the Ledger boy today. I don't know if you saw the big article in the Ledger today about Robert Madden, the stellar senior season that he's having.
He had the
Johnny
best
on the
hit
spot.
I've seen all season last week. It was
He led him in tackles last week. He had
unbelievable. I mean, he timed a perfect
And a
kind of little
great-
screen pass and just crushed the player from Winter Haven. It was great.
And a great senior season last week was probably his greatest game of the year so far.
3rd down conversion, 3rd and 5. Number 10 drops back, getting pressure right side. He throws it out of bounds. It'll bring up 4th down in a punting situation. Good pressure by the outside Lakeland D.
Of course, Sessoms is their starting quarterback. Miner was just took the first snap from center in the Wildcat package. You'll see a lot of Sessoms, who's a junior. Surprisingly enough, there on that first drive of the night for them, Tim, no carries for Adrian Thomas, who's the bell cow running back. A little surprising there.
Sessoms, under duress, had to just fire it out of bounds. Nowhere to go with it as his man was well covered. And Wiregrass on their first offensive try will not be able to pick up their 3rd down conversion. Will punt the ball to a waiting Fenley Graham at the 45. A little bit of a high snap, has to step back, get in a hurry, and it's a high kick. It's way up, straight up in the air. Get away from it.
He's going backwards.
Takes a Dreadnought bounce, and it'll be a net punt of
a negative,
loss.
a negative
a
punt.
negative punt.
Wow. And I don't think it was blocked. I mean, we almost got to, but we did not.
He just panicked because he was taking too long, and under pressure, his footing was all off, Jeff, and he just rifled one straight up in there, pulled a wedge, and just got it way up straight. Took a Dreadnought bounce about 10 yards back.
I don't even know if you can call that shankopotamus.
No,
that's going to go to the side.
No,
right?
it wasn't a shank.
That was a backwards opotamus.
It was a opotamus flip.
Wow.
So the Naughts with incredible field position already in the red zone inside the 20 at the 18-yard line.
Well, Tim, unfortunately, I was not able to be here with you for the pregame show, but one thing I was going to talk about is the need for our offense to step it up. Our defense has been great all year, consistent. So the offense has been inconsistent.
Hand off to Bowman, ball on the ground, fumble, and Wiregrass recovers on the first offensive play.
And just as I was saying, we need our offense to step it up. We have a fumble on the first play from scrimmage, blowing a golden opportunity. Great field position there, Tim.
My goodness, so Wiregrass not hurt at all as they're basically to get it back right where they left off.
There's no doubt in my mind that if the offense can be more productive, we have a chance to win a few more games in these playoffs and go deep. But we have a championship caliber defense. But if the offense doesn't step it up, You know, I just don't see that happening, just to be honest.
I did bring that up. I said, you know, I think that was the chatter throughout the week, too, that the offense just had to step it up and put points on the board, hopefully early and often. Squandering opportunity, as Jeff said there, with the fumble. Turnover to Wiregrass. Number 8, their star running back, does get the carry and is hit in the backfield on the right side. He's going to be driven out of bounds for a loss.
Nothing, absolutely nothing there. Carlos Best and Latrell G make the tackle for the Dreadnaughts.
And the defense has not been the issue. The Dreadnought defense has been swarming for the second part of the season. Second down and 15 after the 5-yard loss. Again, number 8, Adrian Thomas, was just smothered on that first down. Sessoms back under shotgun. Fake to Thomas, fires it over. Number 2, caught in the flat, no one near him, tries to make a move back up. Nice positive gain of about 12. Jacob Hill with a nice reception.
Gonna be close to first down. I think he just got it. Depends where they spot it. Actually, they spot it back at the 30, and he needs to get to about 31. So it's gonna be 3rd and 1.
14-yard gain, so they got back a bunch of the loss from Adrian Thomas, and they have a very manageable 3rd down and 1. Sessom still in the shotgun. Seems to be the preferred high school way to go rather than being under center. Handoff to their star, who fights to get past the 30. Barely did, but that's going to be close.
I think it's going to be about a half a yard. Sure, he needed a yard, and he got about a half a yard, Tim. I do believe it's going to be 4th and less than a yard. They might measure, but really I don't think they need to measure it.
Wiregrass signaling first down, but they really can't see. It's going to be so close. They think they're going to have to bring the chains out. Officials timeout for a measurement.
They're going to have to bring the chains almost all the way across the field.
In the 2017 FHSAA Football Championships, visit FHSAA.org, the official website of the Florida High School.
It's funny. They're running across it, and right in between the Wiregrass teams, all having to jump the chain.
I don't think it's going to be close, really close. If they didn't get it, they're going to be short by maybe 2 inches.
They're short.
Yep.
About 6 inches.
About 6. But that was my initial thoughts about that, but then I kind of taught myself and thinking it was closer, but always trust your first instinct. So, big call here for.
Well, they were able to get by that crazy negative punt and with the turnover from Lakeland, and let's see if they are going to gamble here on a 4th and 1. Looks like they, in fact, are going to at least attempt a hard snap count. Sessoms is going to tuck right under his center.
You know, why not,
83.
Why not go for it? I mean, a while ago they had the ball at the 20 and they fumbled the first play, so you're kind of playing with house money, so to speak, on this drive, so why not?
4th and 6 inches. Sessoms under center is going to wait. Hard snap count, right side. First down, barely.
Not by much, but he definitely got it.
He got it. He fell forward, just rolled his body enough to pick up the first down. Based on the marking I see of the ref on the far sideline, it is a first down. And they are moving the chains. Close, though.
When it's 4th and that short, 6 inches or whatever, you pretty much have to get penetration in the backfield to stop that. I mean, it's not hard to get 6 inches.
Sessoms back in the shotgun. 2 stack receivers close to the line this time, though. Tight formation. Handoff number 8. Immediately assaulted, but then breaks tackle. That's a fine job of running. Somehow he got through the tiniest of holes there and picked up about 9 yards. Thomas on the carry.
Lorenzo Brown and Robert Madden make the tackle there for the Dreadnaughts.
Now they gave him about 7 yards. Best run of the night so far for Wiregrass. 2nd and 2.
Watch the pitch.
Boy, Dreadnought defense all over those little pitches and runs so far tonight.
Branson Brown, Robert Madden, Trey Huntley all making the stop there for the Dreadnaughts. You can see that coming.
Yeah.
And I still could the Dreadnought defense. Coach Baldini had them ready for that.
Beebe had a fine game last week too. Branson had a lot of big tackles. Now 3rd and 2. Sessoms, hard snap count. Dreadnoughts don't fall for it. He looks over to his coach to get the play call. They're going to snap it. Sessoms, 4 or 5 yard drop, sets up a screen, and number 9 sees 96, or is it 98, coming straight
96.
at him. 96 coming straight at him. He had Latrell
He heard
Jean
the footsteps
in the grill and said, I'm out of dodge, but guess what? He left without the football.
He was also trying to make a move before he caught the ball, yeah. They actually set it up perfect because like 4 or 5 Dreadnoughts were blitzing, or the defensive line, 4 or 5 guys were running unabated to the quarterback, which is what you want for a screen. This one being a wide receiver screen.
Not a bad offensive call at all.
And just didn't execute it. The play was there to be made.
Giving some thanks and props to the teachers here at Lakeland High School for everything they do in and out of the classroom to help the Lakeland High School students. Well deserved. So on 4th and 2, let's see if we can get pressure on the punter again. I think he's looking to improve on his average a little bit, Jeff.
It's gonna be hard not to. If he doesn't, then they're in real trouble.
And part of that was because of a high snap. Let's see if they get the snap down to him this time. This time too low. We didn't have pressure, but much better punt. It's Finley Graham. I don't know why he let that bounce. There was no one near him, and Finley Graham actually, instead of coming to get it, let it bounce. Interesting.
This punter, he has backspin on the punt every time it bounces, you know, our direction. I think that's maybe why he didn't. I don't think he got a good read on him. He may have lost in the lights. He kind of looked like he was like a center fielder trying to see the high pop up.
So much better punt.
3-0 Vieira in the first quarter.
Over Plant, yeah.
Over Plant. It's in Vieira, I believe.
Let's see if Dreadnoughts can improve on that first play, which was a fumble. Thomas sends number 7, Whitehead in motion. That was a well-designed play. Flag, though, will stop things.
That's the other thing about the Dreadnought offense. Not only do you have some miscues, turnovers, and just some inconsistency execution-wise, way too many penalties. Let's see, maybe this was on the other team. Excuse me, I spoke too soon. Well, I thought that was going to be a false start. It's actually offsides.
The band knew before us. They started playing that little flag song that they play, and it will bring up 1st down and 5.
But that good turnover event's notwithstanding, we have been seeing too many penalties by the offense as well. Hopefully we can get that worked out.
So yet to actually succeed in running one offensive play, and we're at the 5:53 mark. Fumble on the first one, penalty on the second one. Now inside handoff to Whitehead with a good block. Whitehead up the middle of the field. Look at him go. He's got lots of room. No one's going to get him. No flags on the play. Whitehead is going to score. Wow, there you go.
That's the big play this Dreadnought offense needed, Tim, to kind of get on track. Antonio Whitehead, one of the stars of the comeback last Friday night, throwing the halfback pass. Today he took the run, took the handoff, and took it the distance.
Was that Dakota Weaver, number 73, out there blocking for him? Whoever that was, the lineman did a fantastic. The Beefalo did an unbelievable job clearing the way. That was too easy.
Was that about a 75-yarder, I think, Tim, or a 73-yarder, I think? Antonio Whitehead, like as he did in that Popka game, shows he has the ability, anytime he touches the ball, to take it to the house. An extra point away from being up 7-0.
Easy kick from Jesse Williams as he hits the V and visitor up on the Naughtytron. Very good extra point. The Dreadnoughts do lead 7-0 with 5:39 in the first quarter of this FHSAA Regional Semifinal. We'll take a brief timeout. Be back with you here in just a moment.
seniors. Submit your A's and B's to Bartow Ford for your chance to win a new Mustang. Visit DriveFordExcellence.com for official rules. The 25th Annual Drive for Excellence with Bartow Ford. We're different, and we prove it.
Welcome back to Bryant Stadium, Bill Castle Field. Dreadnaughts with a 70-some-odd yard run from Whitehead with fantastic blocking from the Beefaloes.
Yeah, I want to say one thing about that last play there. I don't think it's the assistant coach. I think it's the video crew up here for Wiregrass was screaming as that play got started, screaming, illegal formation, illegal formation. So they obviously thought the Dreadnaughts said something there illegal, but the referee did not agree. Fortunately for us, as you said, no flags on the play. Clean 73-yard touchdown shot by Antonio Whitehead.
Jesse Williams, we hope his leg gets a workout tonight. And he's pumped up.
And not from punting either.
No, yeah, we don't want him punting. Those kickoffs are good. We'll watch those all night long. As Wiregrass will take over at the 20-yard line, trying to answer the Dreadnaughts. The defense, though, just looks very tough tonight. They're going to have to come up with some unique plays, I think, to get the defense off balance a little bit, Jeff. They just look too solid right now.
No doubt about it. Just got a text from our good friend Keith Corney up in the mountains of Tennessee saying that's more like it. Absolutely.
Just feels like when we say playing as a unit, it just feels like the defense has good communication even when they're not talking to each other. They kind of know who's covering who and what assignments are, and that's big as Sessoms is going to try to answer the Naughts in the shotgun position with Adrian Thomas in the backfield with him. Fakes the handoff, fires it out, caught on the outside. A nice 7-yard gain to number 6, Hunter Helton, the 10th grader, who is the backup quarterback.
Anthony Yard made a tackle there for the Dreadnaughts. This quarterback, Grant Sessom, he's not very big.
No.
If the Dreadnaughts can get some pressure on him, they could
break him in half.
Yeah, perhaps. Also got a comment from my older brother Robbie saying nice run there by Whitehead.
A little bit of zip on the ball from Sessoms, though, that time. Not a bad pass. 2nd down and 2. Handoff, number 8, who turns his way to the first down marker, then gets pushed back. But
stood up. He got stood up there by the Dreadnaught defense.
Forward progress will give him the first down, however. Lorenzo Brown with a nice tackle. First down, Bulls.
Want to thank Young Life for being our sponsor tonight for the telecast.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll talk later in the game. We have some information to read about Young Life and all that they're doing in the community.
Fake little pitch there, and then they wait for the sweep, but the Dreadnaughts just stayed home and nothing doing.
Some great discipline there by several members of the Dreadnaught defense. I think that was Hampton again making the tackle for the Dreadnaughts, Jason Hampton, number 26. He's having a good start to this game.
Loss of 3 yards. We've said that loss several times tonight. The defense getting in the backfield and creating some havoc for the running backs of the Bulls. The Bulls have not been running tonight so far. As Sessoms drops back, setting up a screen again. It looks to be successful this time. Number 8 has a lot of room and makes it to the first down marker at the 42. Well set up play there.
The tackle, yeah, very well set up. And much like the play in the last drive, had several Dreadnaught defenders running straight at him and got the pass up over their heads and into their waiting arms of Thomas there.
A sure way to slow down a very aggressive and fast defense is to throw some of those screen passes. It just makes them think a little bit when they see that kind of setup, and it may slow them down just a step. So it serves several purposes. First, of course, moving down the field and getting a first down, continuing the drive, but also just makes the defense think. It's the second screen pass they've tried. That was the first successful attempt under 4 minutes. Now in the first quarter, the Naughts lead 7-0. Sessoms fake, fires it over number 9, caught, spins to the outside, and tries to come back, but the Naughts have him after a 5-yard gain.
Jack Smith making the tackle along with Finley Graham. I tell you one thing about Sessoms, he kind of has a sidearm delivery.
He does.
And he's not very tall either, so at the Dreadnaught defensive line, we'll just kind of try to time their jumps. They could get some deflections are passes batted down tonight as well. What do you call that? Not really deflection, I guess, or a pass bat down. Is that a stat?
Sure. We'll make it one. But they are slowly, methodically driving the ball down near midfield. Handoff number 7, who has a nice block, gets to the outside, pushed out of bounds at the 49.
Going to be third and about 1, maybe 2.
Finley Graham to the outside.
Play game 3 yards, brings up third down and 2.
Just shy of midfield, and the first time the Bulls would be in the Naughts side of the field tonight on offense. Sessoms waiting, fakes again, tries to keep the ball and sees no room. Just dives forward for a loss of 1.5 yards. Trey Huntley up in on the quarterback Sessoms. Gave him no lane to run whatsoever. Brings up another 4th down. What do? You punt it away with 2:40 left in the first quarter is what you do. I want to see old Finley Graham get he's due for a big one on a run back. See a nice little line drive punt right to Finley and let him set something up here. Let's see if this one's just right. High snap, low snap. Let's see if this one's right in the middle. Long snapper set. Punter calls for it, a bit high again, but he's manageable.
The high one.
Boy, he doesn't like those high snaps. I think it throws his mojo off. Is that time still a sideways and then a backwards bounce.
Lakeland will have good field position again at their own 45-yard line. Is it just me, or is the punter, is he like farther back in some teams?
He seems like he's way too far back.
Way too far back. That might be part of the problem that makes it more challenging for the long snapper.
Yeah, it's almost like an 18-yard long snap. It's not quite that, but it seems like it's that long. So I don't know exactly, but I think that punt was maybe a net 10 yards, something like that. As Hall comes out, Bowman needs to get things going here. I mean, when he gets fired up and gets a little momentum, we need to give him some carry so he can start feeling it here. Thomas to Bowman, just as we said, gets to the outside, cuts it back up, still on his feet, 40, cuts back to the middle of the field. Bowman, there we go. That's what we were just talking about. Skip to Maluma, darling. Bowman goes in for a touchdown. Thank you.
55 yards to pay dirt.
As we just said, we need to get Bowman excited about things.
You saw the whole package of talents that Mr. Bowman brings to the table there, Tim. Use his speed to get around the edge on the right, and then use his vision and cut back to the left. Think of beauty there, back-to-back, long touchdown runs on consecutive plays from scrimmage from the Dreadnaught offense. You had a fumble, you had 3 one-play drives by the offense, a fumble and then 2 long touchdown runs.
Started off ugly, and then it started to get nice and pretty now the last couple of drives as Williams again hits the Naughty Tron on the extra point, and the Naughts go up 14-0 with 1:40 remaining in the first quarter. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Or we'll stay here. That would be the other option. Branson Brown getting worked on there on the sideline.
The Dreadnaught scoring drive is 1 play, covered 55.
1 play, 55-yard scoring drive, as Jeff Warnock said, to back up the 73-yard touchdown run by one Antonio Whitehead. That's a way to get your running stats up pretty quick there, Jeff. 73
Absolutely.
plus 55 if you're doing the math at home. It's not too bad in the first quarter. A mere 128-yard first quarter in the ground. As we said, Jesse Williams reloads. Hopefully the second of many. He's getting further. He keeps now kicking it further into the end zone.
With 1:40 to go in the first quarter, Lakeland 14, Wiregrass 0. Tonight's regional semifinal game brought to you by Young Life.
St. Thomas Aquinas 17, West Broward 0.
Well, that's not a surprise.
No, St. Thomas already up 17-0.
St. Thomas up 17-0 over Les Broward.
You're watching the 2017 FHSAA Football Regional Semifinal game
Venice
here on the
12-0.
Lakeland Football Webcast.
Bartram Trail 21.
Rights to the broadcast of this regional semifinal game have been granted by the FHSAA. Of course, it's 7A, and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Florida High School Athletics Association is prohibited.
Jeff gets the housekeeping. They try kind of a modified screen as well. Get the ball in one of their backs in a hurry. Number 2 again, Jacob Hill, who
Robert
tries
Madden
to scurry to the outside.
chasing him down from the backside.
Brings up 2nd down and 5.
As we said, the FHSA requires a little bit of housekeeping.
Yeah, we'll have to do that kind of throughout the game. And one of our breaks, we want to, a little bit later in the game, at some point, talk some about Young Life.
Yep.
We'll do that later on.
Not a bad 5-yard pickup on first down. 2nd and 5. Sessoms fakes the handoff again. Tries to, wow, he was about to fire to the outside. He saw 23 for the Naughts just bearing in his face. A.J. Thomas was all in his face. And he just kind of dove underneath Thomas to elude his presence and lost a yard. Fine looking defensive play. 53 checks out for the Naughts on D. Carlos Best, Finley Graham. Those guys all doing a fantastic job in the secondary. Sessoms drops back. He's going to try to fire one long. And just off the fingertips. That was a pretty good thrown ball. That could have been caught by number 9, A.J. Brown.
That was actually a very well thrown ball. Kind of dropped it right in there and got his hands on it. Could have been caught there.
Looked like it was going to be over his
Senior
head at
receiver,
first,
yeah, I thought he'd overthrown him, but he had enough air on it where it allowed Brown to run underneath it, but he got his hands on it but couldn't haul it in.
And from what we're seeing, Jeff, they would need every one of those plays to be in this contest. The defense is playing so well, their offense.
Yeah, our defense is totally dialed in. And if our offense continues to get some big plays like this, it's going to be a rather easy game for the Dreadnaughts.
Well, an absence of a name that we thought we were going to call a game has been minor. I don't know if he's been literally off the field or just not effective, but he was gimpy after the first run back. Just don't even know if he's in the ball game.
Bulls call their first time out of the half. I'm not sure if they're 4th and 6. They certainly can't be thinking about going for them. I'm imagining they might want to talk about their punt formation, or since they've kind of struggled with that, make sure they try to get a good punt off this time.
Well, in the 3 punts that they've tried, they've had one that was a negative yards. Yep, it's possible, folks, a negative yards. One that maybe was a 10-yard net, and then he had one, I think, about 45 yards that was a pretty nice punt.
Keith Cornea just texted, made a good point that if we keep this up, our defense would be on the field all night. We might win 56-0, but maybe it might be nice to have a bit of a prolonged drive to the defensive rest.
Could they be so bold to try a fake? No, I don't think so, but you never know.
He's awfully far back there.
He is far.
Yeah, I've never seen a punter be that
far
far
back. I was joking,
back.
but he is a good 15 yards. A little bit of a high snap again. That's a better punt.
And a good punt.
It's
So
really
kind of every other punt is good so far.
Finley Graham did catch it, reverses his field, cuts back, has a block, spins around, and picks up about 7 yards.
Nowhere to go, but he made that 7-yard return pretty darn exciting, didn't he?
It was fun to watch. Spin, a juke.
That is the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter. The Dreadnaughts 14-0. And let's go ahead, Jeff, and take that first quarter break, timeout, and we'll be right back with you here to start the second quarter in just a few moments.
Why buy at Regal Chevrolet in Lakeland, we're family owned, serving Central Florida for 40 years with a new facility, including a new service department, exceptional service from a staff that gets it right the first time, a clean, comfortable customer lounge, and over 20 acres of our $8 million inventory, all priced to move. Last chance for model year-end savings. Shop online 24/7. Plus, we'll even deliver to your home or office. Trust Regal Chevrolet in Lakeland.
Welcome. You can see the defense gathered around Coach Boldini there, and he does such a fine job even when they have good series of just continuing to coach the kids and telling what they did right, what they did wrong. What do you got for us, Jeff?
We're just talking about Young Life here, our sponsor for the game. Once again, we appreciate them sponsoring tonight's telecast. It looks like we're ready to play here, but our next break, we'll talk some more about the program that they have going on here in Polk County.
So the Naughts back on offense, working with good field position just inside the 40. Handoff, spin move. Whitehead still on his feet. It breaks midfield at the 51.
I got a feeling Coach Castle might wear that play out tonight.
The 49-yard line. I almost said 51. Yeah, he's to the 51.
10
Nice
yards,
job.
first down.
Whitehead of.
I thought it was going to be maybe a yard short, but they went ahead and gave him that little extra grass as he fell forward, just enough for a first down.
Tacking on some more.
So his average per carry just went down.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Still not too bad.
By about 30 yards or so it went down.
Thomas is going to come under center. As you can see, the wide receivers here to this near side. He hands off quickly to Hall. That's that play that either seems like it works like butter or it fails miserably.
Not that time. The Bulls are ready for that.
Tackled by Dylan Rudolph.
And he does manage to get a yard.
Brings up second down and 9.
We've yet to see a Kavaris Thomas pass tonight, Tim.
I know it. The refs were generous in giving us a yard there. As you say that, I wouldn't mind seeing him break out from it right here. And nope, keeping it on the ground. Whitehead again trying to cut back after he had some momentum, and nice job by the Bulls of stopping him. No gain, or barely gain, a yard maybe.
I think the Bulls defensive coordinator made some good adjustments there after that second touchdown. Their defense has been calmed down here in this fourth series of the night for the Dreadnaughts.
So you get spoiled with every play or every other play going for a long run. Whitehead maybe needs a break. He came off, getting a breather. Lawson and West out to this near side as the
Coach Castle calls a timeout.
Yeah.
Big
Naughts
play here
call.
early in the game, up 14-0, but 3rd and 8. And so Coach Castle didn't like what he saw, so
Talk
he called
about Young
timeout.
Life a little bit now. I got some time to tell you a little bit about our sponsor.
Yeah, so Young Life doesn't start with a program. It starts with adults concerned enough about kids to go to them on their turf and in their culture, building bridges of authentic friendship. These relationships don't happen overnight. They take time, patience, trust, and consistency. So Young Life leaders log many hours with kids. We listen to their stories and learn what's important to them because we genuinely care about their joys, triumphs, heartaches, and setbacks. We believe in the power of presence. Kids' lives are dramatically impacted when caring adults come alongside them, sharing God's love with them. Because their leader believes in them, they begin to see that their lives have great worth, meaning, and purpose. Young Life in Polk County currently has teams reaching out to high school students at George Jenkins, Harrison, and Lakeland High Schools. A wildlife ministry for middle-aged students, Capernaum for students with special needs, and Young Lives for teen moms. For more information, you can contact Christian Childs Masters, the area director.
As Thomas fires, caught. Good throw that time by Thomas to West for the first down. That was a beautifully thrown ball, but there's a flag down.
Late hit, perhaps. Yeah, roughing the passer against the Bulls, so that'd be 15 yards tacked on. So first down for the Naughts, and can add 15 more yards to that. As Thomas's first pass of the night looked very crisp. Tim?
One of the best balls I've seen him throw in the past few weeks, as a matter of fact. Jeff, yeah, Young Life is such a tremendous program. They've been around for quite a while, and you just hear glimpses of what they do, but they really do a lot of their work out of the spotlight and going to the students, as you said, and just spending that real, we say quality time, but quality and quantity time with youth, and bringing the love of.
There's no replacement for just being there, spending time with people, letting them know you care. What's the old axiom? They don't care what you know until they know that you care, and that's kind of what they do.
First down, Naughts, just outside the 20-yard line. Handoff to Bowman, who falls forward for a yard or so.
Bowman on the carry. Tackled by Nicholas.
Whitehead checking back in. West coming out.
Kind of feast or famine for the Dreadnaught offense tonight. Oh, they're just putting a drive together here with the help of that penalty and got 2 first downs of their own. Plus the penalty, now they're in the red zone.
As you said, it may not be intentional, but maybe Coach Castle trying to slow things down a little bit to give the defense a break. Second down 9. Nice fake. Good toss over to Whitehead, who has a ton of blocks. Whitehead's going to easily walk in. I mean, he had 3 big ends right out in front of him, and all he had to do was just pick his way through the redwood trees.
Very well-executed play from the pass to the catch, and most importantly, as you said, the blocking was phenomenal there by the Dreadnaught offensive line, and his fellow receiver out there as well making a good block.
It's like chess pieces, Jeff. You could not have placed the blockers any better. They just had him surrounded and so well protected, he literally just had to take a few steps into the end zone. Very well designed and very well executed, as Jeff said.
Give Antonio Whitehead credit for following the blocking very well. I mean, Mia, you could have scored that touchdown if we followed the blocking as well as Whitehead did.
He's had a couple easy ones. Williams, good for the extra point.
Whitehead's 2 touchdowns, he is yet to be touched. He could have scored those in flag football.
Yes. As the Cannons continue to march on here tonight in the regional semifinal.
Just one last thought on wildlife, or Young Life, or wildlife. If you're
Probably is sometimes.
If you're interested, well, that's what they call the middle school. They call it wildlife. But if you're interested in getting involved with that here in Lakeland, you can contact Christian Childs Masters. Her email address is CHRISTIN, Christian.masters@gmail.com. So an abnormal spelling of Christian, once again, CHRISTIN.MASTERS@gmail.com. You can let Christian Masters know you heard about wildlife or Young Life on the Lakeland football webcast. And if you want to get involved, she'd be the person to contact. And she is the area director for Young Life here in Polk County.
Just remember, November, there's no Booster Club meeting this Monday night.
Because of, I guess, Thanksgiving week, no school.
You just don't want to show up, and unless you just want to have a nice party by yourself and reminisce about hopefully a Lakeland Dreadnaught win. No one else will be there, though. Jesse Williams set at the 40-yard line. Loads it away, and bam. 5 yards deep in the end zone.
Not quite as deep as the last one.
And there is a long way to go in this contest, so we're not going to completely say the Naughts are going to win. But if that happens, like we're hoping, we want you to know that you can buy your reserve tickets and general admission tickets in front of the guidance office from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. anytime Monday, which is November 20th, through Wednesday the 22nd. So anytime Monday from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m., you can go in front of the guidance office and purchase your general admission and reserve tickets for next week's game. 21-0, so probable but not guaranteed yet. A little bit of a direct snap fake. Sessoms act like he was going to get it and went directly to the running back number 8. Another way you can get tickets, Jeff, is you can always go by Marshall's Jewelers, starting on sale next week. So if you Marshall's Jewelers in the Southgate,
and buy some nice jewelry for your wife for Christmas, get Christmas shopping done at the same time you get your football tickets.
What could be better than that?
Make the missus happy and get your football tickets. Come on, guys. Make it happen.
Well, Carol and the crew will always very helpful down there. They'll set you up with the right perfect gift. Blocked and picked off by Robert Madden at the 30-yard line. Nice tip drill, perfectly executed by the defense.
Third interception of the year for Robert Madden. This Dreadnaught defense is just dialed in there in the right place at the right time. They're disciplined. They got their containment tonight. And you get an interception there, first turnover of the night. They are playing awesome.
Got to talk about the chain.
They got the chain. The Hurricanes have made the U-chain famous with their defense this year as they're undefeated in the hunt for the college playoff. Now you see Robert Madden got the Lakeland anchor chain there for the turnover. That's awesome.
That is quite the phenomenon. I said, boy, that guy in Miami should have definitely trademarked that because from what I understand, they're flying off the shelves in Miami. They're not cheap, but Miami fans and the like are buying those things like crazy. As a pitch out to Bowman. Bowman has some room. Blocked to the outside. Bowman barely.
Could not walk the tightrope.
Oh, he just could not keep his momentum in bounds, and he ran out of bounds at the 16, they're calling it. But a first down run nonetheless. So, yeah, that turnover chain's got quite the momentum starting in Miami and then now spreading across the country. And Lakeland has it right now around the neck of Robert Madden, who picked it off.
Is that new for this week? Haven't seen that before.
Oh, they had it last week or two, yeah. Something to just look forward to if you're a defensive player. Gives you a little spark and wanting to wear that chain. Thomas, quick handoff, Hall. Hall up the middle, runs into his own player, but still manages to get 3 or 4 yards.
Well, the offense has kind of busted out of their slump, Tim. You know, early in the year, they scored 55 in Warner Haven, and last week only mustered 17. And that was, you know, a game after only scoring 10 in the 10-3 win over Kathleen. But now up 21-0 on the verge of adding more to it here in the second quarter. The Dreadnaught offense seems to have responded to the challenge. You know, if we do win this game, Tim, which obviously things are looking very good, as we talked about, we played the winner of Vieira and Plant. Vieira eliminated the Dreadnaughts 2 years ago in the third round of the playoffs at Vieira. Last year, Plant and a one for the ages eliminated the Dreadnaughts in the round 2. So if we're fortunate enough to hold on to this lead and win this game, we'll have a rematch against one of those two schools next week. But the difference being it would be at Bryant Stadium instead of at Vieira or Plant. So
big difference. I did forget to mention that Lakeland, of course, was the team that knocked Wiregrass out in the first round last year.
Yeah, 43-20 the first week of the playoffs. That was, of course, 1 week before we lost to Plant in the regional semi.
The Naughts with a
second
down and 5. They can pick up the first down at the 7-yard line. Thomas is going to hand off to Bowman. Shifts outside, cuts back, still on his feet, inside the 5 to the 3-yard line.
That guy had him dead to rights. Great cutback by Bowman to get about an extra 5 or 6 yards. You've seen a couple of good runs tonight with his cutback ability.
He just needs to get some runs under his belt and kind of feel the flow of the offense again a little bit. And we did, in fact, pick up that first down as we got inside the 7 to the 4-yard line is where they marked it.
First and goal for the Naughts.
And they still have their traditional, they do not have the hammer formation in at the 4. Whitehead spread out, number 12 out to the outside.
Fade pass out to the right corner. Nope, we're going to keep on the ground.
Bowman looks pretty easy down to the 2,
inside
maybe
the
1.
I think maybe even inside the 1. Couldn't quite get in, but I think it's time for the hammer package now.
Hall comes in, you have to expect that quick handoff as number 96 comes in as well, Latrell Jean. Bowman checks out as Lawson also checks out. He wanted that. Boy, Bowman's smiling, Jeff. He said, man, twice I could have.
Coach, leave me in. Let me get this touchdown.
Actually, 3 times. He could have scored a touchdown where he ran out of bounds in the
long
run.
It's either going to be quarterback keeper or a handoff to Hall.
Yeah, it is a quarterback keeper, and there's a flag.
Oh, it's going to be Bowman might get his chance because now it's going to come back to about the 6-yard line. So Bowman might get his chance to come back in the game.
They were quick draws on the flag. That both of them had a flag up there in just a fraction of a second.
You hate to see that anytime you got a second or, you know, whatever. First and goal, second goal, third and goal, whatever. When you're down inside the 1 or 2 yard line and you're on the verge of an easy touchdown, you hate seeing that false start or delay a game, whatever is going to mark you, move you back to the 5 or 6. Makes it a little bit more challenging.
Well, the false start puts it back.
Definitely changes the play call here for Coach Castle.
Tip of the ball just at the 5.
And that was going to be an easy touchdown, too, on the quarterback.
Yeah, he was going to be in.
Sneak.
Using that big body of his. Kavaris Thomas, the senior, 6'4", 230. A little bit unusual to have that size as a high school quarterback. And he's set under his big center. Handoff to Bowman, gets another shot at it. Bowman gets to the outside and drugged down again, just shy of the goal line.
All right, so we kind of got that yardage back. So now it'll be 3rd and goal from inside the 2.
Bowman's like, are you serious? That's the 4th time I could have gotten in. And
one of the Lakeland assistant coaches was signaling for a touchdown, but clearly he was pushed out of bounds before he got in the end zone.
It looked like from our angle he was going to be able to just run to the pylon, but
so didn't get quite all that penalty yardage back, as it's at the 2-yard line, just outside the 2, so it'd be 3rd and goal from the 2. Although you could kick a field goal here if you get stuff. I would imagine, though, Coach Castle's mind right now, it's 4-down territory, so you got 2 plays to get 2 yards.
Well, you asked for a drive to keep the defense off a little bit, so we're getting a nice little extra drive inside the 5-yard line as Thomas, the quarterback's going to keep it, and he is going to score off the right side easily.
Kind of a non-traditional quarterback sneak. He took it, moved a few paces to the right, and then kind of easily got in the end zone.
Man, if you just get those shoulder pads and the helmet squared up with his size and just push those big tree trunk legs, it's near impossible to get him down. He was a little bit gimpy after he scored, but seems to be jogging off under his own.
Yeah, you don't want him to be gimpy.
Right knee a little bit. I think it just got hyperextended maybe or took a shot.
Yeah, you don't want him to be injured, that's for sure.
Williams set for his 4th extra point in the first half. Jesse knocks it clearly through. And with 5:26 in the first half, we'll go ahead and take a brief timeout with the Dreadnaughts leading 28-0 in this regional semifinal.
Good times, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
What more do you need in downtown, beautiful downtown Lakeland? Good food, good times. Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, located conveniently in the beautiful downtown Lakeland area. Great place to go get some eats. It's been a staple downtown there now for many years, and we thank them for being a continued sponsor of Lakeland High School football on the webcast. A little bit of pep in the step of the Dreadnaughts. Finley Graham dancing around a little bit, and rightfully so, 28-0. Second quarter, Plant 7, Vieira 6. Tight ball game there. Also in the second quarter, Bartram Trail 21-13. Bartram Trail leads. Fleming Island 3, Edgewater 0 in the second quarter. Venice 12, Braden River 7. And as you might expect, St. Thomas 24, West Broward 0. So very similar to the kind of game we're having here tonight. St. Thomas laying the lumber as they're so used to doing. JW with the win, a couple yards shy of the end zone. It's going to be returnable, but not so, says one special teams player, number 17. I think that's Sequavian Mathis all over the return man. And I'm glad he made that because I just want to say Sequavian. Bulls with a lot of work to do now, seemingly realizing they're in a heap of trouble here at Bryant Stadium, 28-0. Victory Christian, 21 over 7 Rivers, 21-0 in the second quarter. Frostproof is losing in their contest. Another Polk County team. We always root for Polk County teams in the playoffs, unless they're playing against us. The Bulls need to get it running, need to get a stampede going. They're down 28-0 here as Sessoms drops back, throws the screen again. You hear it being yelled at, and a nice job of defending by the Naughts, who are clicking on all cylinders on the D side.
3 times now they've set that play up right, and twice has been moderately successful.
Pass complete to Thomas, and Carlos Best initially on the hit.
Pregame 3 yards brings up 2nd down and 7.
So it looks like it's going to gain a bunch, only picks up 3 yards for the Bulls. Struggling on offense now, 2nd and 7. I don't know if they're struggling as much as the defense is just dialed in, as you said. Sessoms looks one way, turns back. Now is going to try to run, flicks it at the last minute, way out of bounds. He was just
may have been past the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure that should be a penalty.
Heavy duress.
I don't see a flag on the play, so I guess he was just at the line of scrimmage when he made that pass, but it was awfully close.
Got Naughts hanging all over him. Poor kid had to try to flick his wrist and pull a Ben Roethlisberger, who last night I just saw, he was crazy. He's either really on or he's up to his old tricks. Just somehow he's been in the grass. Someone got on his right, one guy's left, and just somehow flicked the.
You see that catch Antonio Brown made too, one-handed?
Off the helmet, Antonio Brown with the helmet catch. Sessoms back deep, getting pressure, rolls out left side, has a lot of room and some speed, and picks up the first down, and wisely steps out of bounds.
It's kind of the first time tonight we lost containment there. We let him get up to the outside.
A little bit, yeah.
It was funny. I didn't watch the game last night, but this morning when I saw the highlights on SportsCenter of the Pittsburgh Steelers game, I thought to myself, Antonio Brown, 100-something yards, 3 touchdowns. I said, man, I hope whoever I'm playing in fantasy this week didn't have Antonio Brown. So later on today, I checked my fantasy app, and sure enough, I'm down like 119-0.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, he had Antonio Brown, sure enough.
That'll do it. Sessoms, perhaps without his star athlete, he fires it over. As we kind of said, that'll be a loss of a yard.
Great tackle there by Jack Smith.
Minor extensively in the opening, and he was the player that ran it back and then took the first play from scrimmage in the Wildcat, as Jeff said, but has not joined the ball game since then. So we don't know if he, in fact, was injured.
That's a big part of their game plan right there. I'm pretty sure of that.
Huge part of, I'm sure, what they run offensive and defensively. Spread offense. Sessoms fighting, though, trying to get some points on the board. A 2nd down and 11. Jailbreak there. Screen set, and from behind gets spanked.
That's Latrell Jean having a big game for the Dreadnoughts tonight.
Latrell is feeling it. Light on his toes, big Latrell Jean.
Want to wish a big Dreadnought fan a happy birthday tonight, Tim. Brian Fisher, hope you're having a good day. And this Dreadnought performance tonight is probably the icing on your cake.
Well, that's something you don't often see, is a lineman making a tackle from behind, coming back the other way. But wisely just turned around and launched his body and rode the bull down. 3rd and 11 now after that no gainer. Pressure again, and he's going to go down. Nearly a face mask, but I think they had him around the neck and shoulder pads.
Robert Madden and Trey Hunley will get credited with a half a sack each as they combine to make a Grant Sessom sandwich there.
Jeff, now the defense is just playing games now. They're just rushing in and
that's what happens when you get a lead. You can pin your ears back and come after the quarterback.
They look like all like matadors taming the bulls out there now. The Naughts in control here at Bryant Stadium in the regional semifinal.
We're going to have a running clock before the half, Tim, although I think actually you have to wait till the second half to start it. But we are well on our way, 1 touchdown away from being 35-point margin.
Plenty of time to score as the punter hopes he has a good snap standing near the goal line, just a yard up. Good snap, but a penalty. Boy, Finley Graham. No, that was number 2.
Jack Smith.
Yeah.
Finley Graham's back.
Jack Smith could have blocked that if the whistles wouldn't have blown. Finley Graham getting a little coaching. He was just playing around a little bit, but he actually dropped the ball. Penalty against the Bulls will bring up 4th down and
what about a
5
block
more
punt
yards.
right here, Tim?
Yeah, may as well go for it, right?
Only 1:58 to go before the half.
As I said, Jack Smith could have had a run at that one, and he's on the outside again, and he's got a clear lane. So if this snap is anything other than on target, you might see Jack Smith going for it. And there is the snap. Jack's going to go around the, and a bad punt again. The Naughts
Get out of the
going
way.
to check up, and Naughts will have it.
They already touched it.
Just outside the 30, I think, is where they'll mark it, around the 34-yard line.
So the Dreadnaughts will once again have incredible field position.
Wow.
Around the 34-yard line, it looks like. There's a flag on the play. Let's see what that is. I hope it's not roughing the kicker. I mean, he pretty much checked up. I don't see how they could get Lakeland for that.
I think it's possible if they just grazed him from the right angle, the ref could have seen something different. For the moment, the defense is on the field as they sort things out. And here's the call. It's declined.
Illegal
by the
man
Naughts.
downfield for the.
No sense of making them kick that over
Actually, I think it
again.
may have been a legal substitution. I may have had that wrong. But yeah, decline that. You get great field position, that's for sure.
Naughts with plenty of time with 1:33 remaining, with the way they've been chewing up big yards on plays. Whitehead and Lawson are out to the far side. The only thing we haven't seen is the big pass play, Jeff, tonight. We've seen a couple decent ones, but not the touchdown type.
We did the one touchdown, but it was on the
that's
screen.
True.
He's 2 for 2 tonight, or 2 for 3?
We're talking about the
Here
long
we go.
passes. Now that was wide open, but
Touchdown!
I was going to say, but Lawson was going to be caught by the defender, but he.
Daquan Lawson made a great catch as you called for it. Coach Castle and Kavaris Thomas obliged as he just put the ball up there and let his receiver go after the ball and make a play. He high pointed that one. He jumped up and caught it at the highest point before the cornerback had a chance to make a play.
Coach Castle's hand, that was funny. Bowing to Coach Castle, but yeah, Lawson was really open in the beginning, and then I thought the pass was coming late. The defender was going to knock it down, but Lawson just had good body position and jumped up and out jumped the defender.
Great catch by the senior wide receiver.
So we will have 35 on the board in the first half. Jesse Williams, kaboom. Again, here comes the cannon with 1:25 left. They run out of they might have run out of ammunition with the cannon. It's possible.
Well, before the game tonight, Tim, we talked about the fact the offense needed to step it up, and they have more than answered our challenge.
I'd say.
As I just saw my guest for the Harry's Seafood halftime show interview make it up the ladder here into the press box, Tim, for the first time, I think, in the Harry's Seafood halftime history. We're going to interview a political figure.
It's just,
and the mother of one of the Lakeland football players. That's, of course, new Lakeland City Commissioner-elect Stephanie Madden.
Yes.
Mother of linebacker Robert Madden.
So we just got an extra boost of energy up here in the press box as Stephanie always brings incredible energy and her fantastic personality and enthusiasm, not only to the Lakeland sidelines, but she will bringing that to the Lakeland now and the political scene.
We're going to talk with her, obviously, about her race and about her victory last Tuesday, and also about, being the mom of a player. I mean, we talked to some dads before interviews and former players. We've never talked to really a mom of a player, so we're going to do that. And, of course, not only Robert, she's, was the mom of 2 former Dreadnaughts, John Michael and George Madden. Then also Stephanie and her husband Steve are very involved with, or at least in the past they have, I'm not sure they're currently, but with Young Life. So we're talking to them about Young Life some as well.
Awesome. That sounds like a great halftime show. Stay with us for that Harry's Seafood halftime show in just under a minute and a half here as the ball is going to just check up in the end zone, barely, but it'll come out to the 20. Where now it's just one of those pride games for Wiregrass, who was successful last week against Lake Nona, so they had a playoff win, but tall order to come in here at Bryant Stadium to best the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. And as you can see, the defense in particular continuing to play at a super high level. Now, perhaps the offense matching things a little bit. At halftime, Plant 7, Vieira 6, if you're following some other high school playoff action. As the defense back to work. Still in the first half, the waning moments of the first half. Sessoms hands off to number 8.
Adrian Thomas on the carry.
Adrian Thomas is getting all the ball carrying tonight since Minor has checked out of the ball game. Again, we don't have an official injury status on Minor, but as we discussed, he's kind of how this Wiregrass team goes. They feed off Minor as the leader on offense and defense, and without him on the field, just not a lot of firepower out there as Thomas gets the call again, no gain. And the clock continues to tick. Down under a minute here in the first half. Anchorette set to perform at halftime. The band has been doing an incredible job this season. It's really been a pleasure to watch them. That wouldn't be a bad interview next week, is to get someone from the band up. Maybe even if they do halftime, to walk us through halftime. Sessom's going to count this one down, maybe as the last play of the first half. Drugged down by the Lakeland defense. And the Lakeland offense matching the defense. 35-0 in the first half is your official score. And as noted as well, the Dreadnaughts won the coin toss.
That is their second charge timeout of the first half.
Timeout with 5 seconds left, a bit of an unusual timeout by Coach Castle and the Naughts. So officially, first half not in the record books yet. Anything could happen in 5.2 seconds. Stay with us again. Stephanie Madden up for the Harry Seafood halftime show with Jeff Goddard, who is continually improving his skills at interviewing, becoming quite the interviewer. As now this will be the last play of the first half with 5 ticks left. Sessoms probably looking forward to getting in at halftime and taking a little bit of a break. A quick snap, and he just chucked it into the ground because he was about to get annihilated. I would be scared too. Basically, they didn't block anybody, Jeff. They just let the entire defense come through on Sessoms.
They didn't run the clock out, so you might as well let Jesse Williams kick a field goal. If you're Coach Castle, why not? Let him get some practice on a field goal.
So they call Jesse Williams on a 4th and 5.
Yeah, 2.2. All he had to do was just throw the ball higher in the air or scramble around a little bit in the half, but he just kind of
he was getting such pressure, he panicked a little bit. He saw all those Naughts coming straight at him.
What yard line is the ball going to be spotted on? We're on the 24, so this should be a 25.
32, so actually a 42-yard field goal.
42-yard field goal. Let's see if he can make it. This is great practice for him. You might need it late in the playoffs.
Kicked a 47-yarder last week, of course, to get the first points on the board. So Jesse Williams with the snap. It's going to be blown dead with the whistles. He may get to kick a 47-yarder again if it's against the Naughts.
I thought they jumped off sides.
No, it was the Bulls, as you said. Yeah. So he'll move 5 yards closer. This one's set up to be a 36-yarder. Maybe 36 and a half. Williams got it off the right side. I had to hold my breath and wait a little bit. It was close. but we tack on 3 on a bit of a mistake by the Bulls.
37-yard field goal by Jesse Williams. He's a weapon, no doubt about it. And your score at halftime, Lakeland 38 and Wiregrass Ranch 0. Just a dominating performance by the entire Lakeland team so far tonight, Tim.
And it was, in fact, that. All sides of the ball, defense, offense, a lot of big running plays. As we said, a 73-yarder, 50-some-yarder. Everyone getting in on the action tonight, Jeff, and we're looking forward to the halftime show as we'll take a brief timeout as the Anchorettes hit the field, and we'll come back.
And we'll come back after the break and watch the Anchorettes a little bit, and then we'll have my interview with Lakeland City Commissioner-elect Stephanie Madden.
Perfect.
Harry Seafood halftime show rolls on.
Good time, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
We always give you more to love at Regal Chevy in Lakeland.
I couldn't be happier with my experience. The sales department was so friendly, and they made it easy to find a vehicle to fit my budget.
Brand new 2017 Cruises in stock with payments just $130 a month. Drive the all-new redesigned 2018 Equinox for only $200 a month. Fall in love with Regal Chevy in Lakeland. Community-minded, customer-focused, and family-owned for over 41 years.
Sal says yes, you pay less.
Bartow Ford is proud to announce that we've won the President's Award for the 19th time. You would need to leave the state of Florida to find a dealer that's won it more. Sales volume and customer satisfaction is how you win. And let's face it, you wouldn't sell a lot of vehicles if you didn't offer the lowest price around and take care of customers the very best. But why don't I have them up on the wall? Because a long time ago, my father taught me that our people are what make the difference. Other dealerships, they can have their gimmicks and games. We'll take people that care. Bartow Ford, we're different, and we prove it.
All right, Jeff Goddard back. The Harry Seafood halftime show. Your score at halftime, Lakeland 38, Wiregrass 0. And tonight, I'm proud to have for my interview, Lakeland City Commissioner-elect Stephanie Madden. Stephanie, congratulations on your victory last week.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad that we're not in a runoff right now.
Exactly. And more importantly tonight, you're the mother of Robert Madden,
yes,
number 21 for the Dreadnaughts.
Absolutely. I told Robert, I said, Robert, I won the commission race. Now I'm handing you the baton. Let's take it all the way to state.
Nice, very nice. You sound like an experienced politician there. All right, so let's start off a little bit about the election last Tuesday. You won outright, 51%?
Yes.
So no runoff. So Lakeland City Commissioner, talk about what you, first of all, just talk about the campaign and about why you decided to run.
Okay, well, in Lakeland we have 7 commissioners, and I noticed that the only female on the commission was term limited, and I was worried about a commission of 7 without a female perspective, and so I actually said in jest to my husband, maybe I should run. And he was a little more sober in his response and said, maybe you should.
Steve kind of didn't let you off there, did he?
So I think I had a lot of friends and family support me and talk me into it before I could talk myself out of it.
We all know Steve has a little bit of Karl Rove in him.
Yes. And he's actually very good at marketing, so he knew what to do to get the campaign and to get the logo.
So that's kind of why you ran. I'll talk about the campaign a little bit and how you went about executing the strategy.
Yes, so I was running against an incumbent, so I knew I had a big learning curve. So I spent the first month and a half or so just meeting with city department heads and city staff, creating notebooks and trying to learn as much as possible about the job. And then, of course, you have to raise money and get a logo and get your name out there. So it really became fun the last month or so when I had friends and family walking door to door, knocking on doors, meeting voters one at a time and asking them for their votes. So by the time we were at voting day, election day, I felt like I had an entire team, just like tonight, there with me. And so when we were at Beef O'Brady's and heard the news, it was such a team effort, and it was just a great, feeling of excitement.
My parents and brother were there. They said it was a very nice evening.
It was great for them to be there.
So, all right, so now that when do you take office, in January?
Yes, January 2nd.
Okay.
I have an orientation December 18th to learn all the rules and the sunshine laws and all of that. So I've been at City Hall today, actually meeting with some city staff and looking at the 400-page budget. So.
All right, so what maybe one or two things that you want to accomplish as a city commissioner?
As a business owner, I knew how hard it was to get through the downturn and really feeling the wind in our sails now, and I feel like the city's in that same place. So I'm really excited to partner education, industry, and government and really bring some high-skill, high-wage jobs and some companies to Lakeland. That would be my highest priority. I'm also really excited about leveraging our fiber assets and having abundant, affordable bandwidth here in Lakeland that we don't presently have. So those would be two big issues for me.
Very well. Let's move on to football now. Yeah. So actually, Robert's your third son to play for Lakeland. John Michael was also a linebacker like Robert, and then George, who's now at West Point, played offensive line. Just talk about what Lakeland football has meant to your family and watching three of your sons get to play for Coach Castle.
Yes, I mean, it has really been special to be with a legendary coach like Coach Castle. My boys are writing their essays. Robert's writing his essays for college right now. And making that shift from Lakeland Christian to Lakeland High School and just being on this team has been so profound in their journey, their life journey, that they write about it in their essays. And so it's just been really exciting for us as a family to be a part. We didn't go to Lakeland High School ourselves, but having our children here and being a part of this program has been so exciting. So
it's such a fabric of the community.
I mean, my logo for my campaign had orange in it, of course, because we bleed orange and black.
Yes, exactly. It's just the Lakeland football is such a fabric, such a part of the community.
Yes. I mean, Friday Night Lights in Lakeland, Florida, there's just nothing better.
So what is it like as a mom watching your boys at their play? Do you get nervous sometimes thinking you might get hurt or if they're slow to get up? What's it like as a mom watching your boys play?
Yeah, well, Thomas was his first. He finally gets to JV football.
And in case you didn't know, Thomas is child number 5, son number 4.
And, when they're following in their brother's footsteps, they're that much more excited to play. So breaking his wrist at the beginning of the season and out for the season was so devastating. But watching Robert and seeing him in the paper and being able to brag about him being the leading tackler for the team is so exciting. But it also is exciting to know that I've got Chase and George watching on TV and John Michael.
Chase being his cousin, of course.
Yes, I'm cheering him on.
Who's also at West Point. No, Thomas is going to be back playing next year. Is he going to be fully healed, hopefully?
Yes, he's all about it. He's already practicing for lacrosse, so that always gets him in good shape for football.
Excellent. Then also I want to talk to you about Young Life a little bit. Young Life is sponsoring tonight's game.
Okay.
And I know you and Steve have been involved with Young Life some in the past. Just talk a little bit about Young Life and the important role it can play in the life of young people.
So, like I said, we were at Lakeland Christian, and then we experienced a downturn, thought about how can we afford 6 kids in private school and also college. So we were in public school. Well, Young Life really became such a great mechanism for our kids to be in a safe, fun environment. We'd meet in homes, and they'd come and do these crazy games and play skits, and college kids are the leaders. The college kids would come over and facilitate a party at our house. And it was a great way for them to meet other kids in a safe environment.
And when you say party, what do you mean by party?
Oh, they would do skits and sing songs at the top of their lungs. And And then they get to go to camp, too, which is, of course, the best year of their life, according to Young Life.
Of course, all good, clean fun, of course.
Yes, such great, clean fun. And so even in college, our kids have participated in Young Life and gone to Young Life camps and Young Life. Kristen Childs is the new leader.
Yes.
Kristen Childs Masters, because she's married to Bryant Masters.
Executive
Lakeland
director,
Dreadnaught, yeah. And I can't say enough about her leadership. She's such a dynamic, wonderful, friendly, warm, genuine, authentic woman. And the kids really respond to her. So they're trying to get a club at Lakeland. Presently, they've had a big club at George Jenkins. So that'll be exciting to see them be able to expand to Lakeland.
Started that, yeah. Now, so in addition to like college kids coming back and working with high school and middle school age kids, kind of like parents of kids like, say, you and Steve, or any other couple out there that have kids in school, can they get involved as well then?
Oh, absolutely. I hate to admit it, but we didn't know a lot about Young Life with John Michael, and I would actually pay the kids to bring their friends to get it started. And now there's no paying anybody. It's just good. It's great fun, and they just believe in every kid. It doesn't matter what you come from, what your family background is. Young Life reaches out to every kid in the community, and it's a great program. I can't say enough about it.
Excellent. Well, we made history tonight, Stephanie. You're the first political interview we've ever done on the Harry Seafood Halftime Show.
Well, you know I'm here because of the Dreadnaughts.
That's right. So Lakeland City Commissioner-elect and mom of Robert Madden, Stephanie Madden, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Okay. So bye, George and Chase and Amy and Steve and Elizabeth and David and all the kids. We'll see you at Thanksgiving.
So we'll take a short break and then come back with some of the Lakeland High School Marching Band. Your halftime score, Lakeland 38, Wiregrass 0, as the Harry Seafood Halftime Show rolls on.
A warranty with unlimited miles. Regal Kia in Lakeland is Central Florida's only family-owned dealership to offer a lifetime warranty on every new Kia sold for as long as you own your vehicle. Regal is Lakeland's volume Kia dealer with over 250 new Kias available. Online at regalkia.com. We offer a family buying experience in our spacious new facility and exceptional service with pickup and delivery after the sale. Serving Central Florida for 40 years. See why so many people trust Regal Kia next to Lakeland High School. No cash? No problem! Wave and save at Regal Kia in Lakeland. Buy now and Regal Kia will make your monthly payments till next year. Shop over 500 vehicles online at regalkia.com with delivery to your home or office. Act now and drive your choice. New 2017 Kia Soul, only $144 a month. Or new 2017 Kia Optima, just $147 a month. Plus, we offer a lifetime warranty. Wave and save. Family owned for over 41 years. Trust Regal Kia.
Sal says yes, you pay less.
Agni Family Dental truly is a family of doctors. We strive to give our patients a patient-first dental experience. Our goal at Agni Family Dental is to provide our patients with the highest level of comprehensive dental care and prevention. Every member of our team promises to put the needs and concerns of every patient first in every aspect of their dental care. Our family of doctors take a tooth-conservative approach to restorative dentistry with a special focus on sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and orthodontics. Call to schedule your appointment today and let our family of doctors change the way you look at dentistry.
Hey yo! Ooh-wee! Hey yo! Ooh-wee! We all we got! We all we need! 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 We all we got! We all we need!
commissioners. Submit your A's and B's to Bartow Ford for your chance to win a new Mustang. Visit DriveForExcellence.com for official rules. The 25th Annual Drive for Excellence with Bartow Ford. We're different, and we prove it.
Why buy? At Regal Chevrolet in Lakeland, we're family owned, serving Central Florida for 40 years with a new facility, including a new service department, exceptional service from a staff that gets it right the first time, a clean, comfortable customer lounge, and over 20 acres of our $8 million inventory, all priced to move. Last chance for model year-end savings. Shop online 24/7. Plus, we'll even deliver to your home or office. Trust Regal Chevrolet in Lakeland.
Good time, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
Welcome back up to the press box high above Bill Castle Field in Bryant Stadium. Thanks for staying with us, the Lakeland offense. Wow, we've asked for some big plays, and they delivered. And we are counting on the defense picking up where they left off, and it just – they are, you know, we've seen a lot of Lakeland High School teams. They are playing the kind of championship football it takes to advance. And so if they can kind of stay dialed in as that defensive group, the Dreadnaughts are going to have a shot. Still going to be tough unless the offense does the kind of things that they're doing. Now, how much of a factor is Minor not being on the field? It's a major impact, not minor. He is their go-to guy. He is, in every sense, kind of the leader. And you've seen that. They've just had a lack of leadership and really a lack of direction without Minor on the field since really the beginning of the first quarter when he went out after the first few plays. So didn't get a report. I tried to walk over to the other sideline and ask, but there weren't any coaches around to ask kind of the what happened to Minor. But nonetheless, it looks like their season, for all practical purposes, is done unless a miracle happens. And the Dreadnaughts want to stay injury-free. And maybe we'll have even some second and third teamers get to play a little bit in the playoff game tonight, which is a bit unusual, but not unheard of for Lakeland High School football. So just about a minute or two to go before we kick off here in the second half as both teams are back on the field. And we look forward to bringing this still with you. Stay with us. We'll make it fun and interesting, hopefully. And we'll probably have a running clock, so it'll go by quickly. Thanks to several of the people that texted me during halftime that you're listening from around the country. A good friend of ours, Mike Doss, listening from Tennessee. Thanks again for all of you tuning in to the live webcast tonight. So we'll turn around, flip it over, and the Dreadnaughts will be receiving here in the second half. Just a reminder to all of you that may want to attend a Booster Club meeting, this would not be the week to do it since there is no November Booster Club meetings. So please do not show up Monday night at the Lakeland High School locker room because no one will be there to cheerfully greet you. Wish we had the stats. I saw Dane down there because they have got to be impressive on the ground in particular. And they're not horrible with the last few moments of the first half as Thomas connected on a 30-yard touchdown pass. So I'm sure just the Big O offensive stats in general look pretty stout for the Lakeland Dreadnaughts tonight, 38-0 the score. So I think these preliminary second half warm-ups have been complete. And the refs are awaiting the teams to join them on the field. And we'll be underway in just a moment. Good job in halftime by the Anchorettes to lead things off, and then the Lakeland High School Dreadnaught Marching Band playing a few of the favorites from Earth, Wind, and Fire, September included, and my favorite, Horse, as they played us out through halftime. And the band is standing in line for some well-deserved nourishment. I saw Gatorade and pizza awaiting them as I took a brisk walk around Bill Castle Field at halftime. Several players making a play for the players of the game. Maybe even an unusual defensive lineman, Latrell Jean, one of the standouts so far this evening. And Antonio Whitehead on offense certainly has been a force. 12 minutes tacked up on the clock here at Bryant Stadium on the Naughtitron. And the Dreadnaughts on a interesting attempt to catch the Naughts off balance and off guard. Try an ineffective squib onside kick. They were going to try to recover. Hopefully no one was going to catch on, but just too strong by the Wiregrass kicker, and it went out of bounds. The Naughts will have the ball in fantastic possession. Interesting call, right? Because normally when you kick it out of bounds, wow, Vieira just took a slim lead over Plant, 8-7. Interesting game. Bartram Trail 35-13 over Lincoln in the third quarter. So instead of coming out to the 35, obviously they just get it right there where the ball went out of bounds at the 45. So no extra yards tacked on. Still talking something over, though, as you can see there near midfield. And awaiting the go-ahead. Refs explaining things to the Bulls coach over there on the sideline. And Kavaris Thomas still in this ball game. Back to pass, looking deep, looking long. There's a flag on the play as Thomas flicks it out to Lawson, but I think that's going to come back. Nice pass, Jeff, but it's going to be brought back, I think, with a flag there.
Holding against the Dreadnaughts, but Kavaris looks very dialed in tonight. He's calm and poised and throwing some nice balls tonight, Tim.
It doesn't hurt when you have absolutely no pressure.
That is true.
He had just all day and then a half day back there to throw. Would have been a heck of a way to start the second half, since we started the first half with a fumble.
Very true. And I'm not sure how much longer you can see the starters play.
I was just thinking the same thing.
38-0 running clock. I would think they're not going to see very much action here the second half.
I'm guessing this first series, and then they're probably out, I would think. Especially if we put some points on the board, I would imagine they will sit down. Time will wane in rapid succession here as Thomas rolls out to the right side. Nice stop. Wow, he's going deep, but there was someone wide open. Caught And drugged down just outside the 5.
Wow.
But what a bomb by Thomas, just toying with the defense now. He had men open all over the field, Jeff. It's like Whitehead was wide open at the 50, and he said, no, I want to chuck this one. Just old kind of playground style, just wing it.
And when he first threw it kind of towards the middle of the field, looked like nobody was there.
I know, right?
But here comes the wide receiver on the left side hash. All of a sudden, the ball was just right there, hit him in stride. Just a beautiful throw by Kavaris Thomas. And I actually got so caught up watching him, I'm not even sure who made the catch.
I know,
I'm not sure who it was.
I was just watching the whole field, and you could see different receivers wide open. Again, it looked like sandlot football a little bit, but a lot of fun.
I mean, this is the Kavaris Thomas that can take us to the state championship game.
If he's on, he's on.
I mean, this is as good as he's looked since early in the year.
Yeah, he's got the capability, and you're right. This is the flashes we've seen in midseason and even in the first 2 or 3 games. As you said, that's when he seemed like he was hot. As Bowman looks like he's in, gets the call. Bowman wants one. He gets down inside the 3-yard line to the 2.
And he got wallowed when he made that pass too, Thomas, but got right up. He's big. He can take a licking and keep on ticking.
Yeah.
Just like Timex.
I mean,
Timex watch right there.
Where did he release that ball? That was
30 to 35-yard line.
Right. And he caught it at what, the 10?
He caught
15,
it
maybe?
15 to 20, yeah. I mean, that was at least 50 yards in the air.
50, 55 yards?
Yeah, 50 to 55 in the air.
Not bad.
It actually reminded me a little bit of Felipe Franks pass, the way he rolled out. Just kind of, it's actually similar to that. If you're a Gator fan, you know what I'm talking about.
Almost went the distance, too.
Or if you're a Tennessee fan, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Not quite, the refs say, on the 6-inch line. Jason Price with a nice tackle for the Bulls at the goal line. 3rd and goal to go at the 6-inch mark. Coach Castle just says, stay in there, just block somebody. They're all kind of looking around. They do have the hammer. The big bodies up front. It looks like quarterback keeper off right side. Touchdown, Dreadnaughts.
Second touchdown run tonight for Kavaris Thomas.
Easy.
To go with 2 touchdown passes. He's got 4 touchdowns.
Much better looking performance tonight by your Dreadnaughts. 44 to nothing. We'll keep it right here for the extra point.
Kavaris looks very happy and satisfied.
Yeah. He said, did you see me throw that ball? I threw that. That was like a half-court shot in basketball. JW. Been perfect tonight. Kept it rolling, Jesse Williams.
Off one of the columns of the scoreboard there.
45-0 your score here in the FHSAA Regional Semifinal.
No, you know, no one's really like completely standing out to who I should interview after the game, but so many different ways I could go with this.
I was talking about that as you were coming up. There's a lot of interesting characters that kind of have done, you know, a defensive lineman that's played a good game. Number 96.
What about a certain kicking specialist that we haven't interviewed all year, but made a field goal tonight, made a big field goal last week?
Whitehead certainly a standout.
Well, and I like to try to interview people I haven't interviewed yet. I've interviewed Whitehead already, and I've interviewed Thomas. What about
you have not interviewed Jesse, correct?
No.
And
what about DeMarcus Bowman? I haven't interviewed him yet. He had that beautiful 55-yard touchdown run.
Those two might be good interviews.
Hey fans, it's your team. It's your time. So why not save time?
We'll see if the first team offense stays in the game. I would doubt it because that just is kind of unfair at this point. Probably unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Thomas again. At least I kind of hope we don't.
Got to pad the stats after that 30-yarder at the end of the first half, and now that 50-some-yarder. He's got nice passing stats.
Be as healthy as possible going into the game next week. Do you see it? Do you hear the announcement? I'll go. Vieira's up 8-7.
I know.
So apparently, I think they must have 2 field goals in safety because at one point they had it up 3-0.
Yeah. Obviously a defensive battle there, Plant and Vieira. Just a reminder once again as they're announcing on the speakers here that a couple opportunities for you to pick up your tickets next week. One is at Marshall's Jewelers. And again, as Jeff said, a great idea to get some shopping done while you're there. I'm sure they have maybe some Thanksgiving week specials even going, some pre-Black Friday deals. Just talk to Carol. I'm sure she'll have some good stuff for you. And if you can't make it to Marshall's Jewelers, starting Monday through Wednesday from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m., you can go in front of the guidance office and buy your general admission or reserve tickets there as well. Be a fun Thanksgiving week activity.
For sure. The FHSAA supports sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is having pride in your school, your team, and yourself. Sportsmanship is respect for the game and those who play it. The Florida High School Athletic Association reminds you to take the responsibility of good sportsmanship. Play strong, play hard, play fair. This message is provided by the FHSAA.
Sessoms still in fighting, and they drop the ball. Oh, my. And recovered by the Naughts. So is someone going to get the chain? Does someone get the turnover chain?
I'm not sure. Has the refs ruled that?
Yes, they have.
Yep, it is. Oh, they got the chain ready. This is the catch. Who gets it? Who gets it?
Number 23 for the Naughts gets it. A.J. Thomas with the turnover.
Look at that. Look at that. A.J.
Jewelry.
Thomas got the big chain on.
Got the hardware.
Anchors away.
Very cool.
Kavaris is still in the game. This might be just to hand the ball off a few times. A.J. Thomas has had a nice year for the Dreadnaughts. The junior defensive lineman. He'll be back next year. But still some games to play this year. Hopefully three more.
Some starters in as well as number 25, who is not a starter, running back for the Naughts.
Marquis Marlborough.
You've heard us call his name a few times during the season. McKee getting a nice carry. Whitehead and Lawson coming out of the ball game. But maybe a bit of a surprise that Thomas is staying in, unless coach just said we'll keep him in for the third quarter and bring him out for the fourth quarter. 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Facing the Naught offense here inside the red zone after the turnover. Thomas with the fumble recovery. And Thomas, the other Thomas, drops back and looks, got a lot of room, just take it in yourself. Good block, jump, hurdle, touchdown. Kavaris Thomas hurdles a bull at the 3-yard line.
Wow. And he didn't get a horn on his pants either, did he?
Didn't get gaffed in the process. That's impressive.
Kavaris Thomas is full arsenal of athletic abilities on his play tonight. Running, throwing, hurdling over people.
Yeah, he had to take it. That was just too wide open, and he got a nice block coming back from a Naught defender and one of the wide receivers.
One of his best games of his Dreadnaught career. Of course, he's only been here the 1 year. He played at Lake Gibson last year before transferring over to Lakeland.
Jesse with a fantastic night, as you said, Jeff. Maybe steering his way to a player of the game, certainly on special teams. Naughts 52-0. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Stay with us.
We always give you more to love at Regal Chevy in Lakeland.
I couldn't be happier with my experience. The sales department was so friendly, and they made it easy to find a vehicle to fit my budget.
Brand new 2017 Cruises in stock with payments just $130 a month. Drive the all-new redesigned 2018 Equinox for only $200 a month. Fall in love with Regal Chevy in Lakeland. Community-minded, customer-focused, and family-owned for over 41 years.
Sal says yes, you pay less.
Getting a few scores here. Tampa Bay Tech 28-3. Wow, Venice is getting beat 24-12. Bartram Trail is whipping Lincoln 47-13. And With the running clock, we are at the end of the third quarter. They'll just reload 12 minutes and tick her down.
The FHSAA is now on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Tweet us, like us, and tag us on your social platforms by searching FHSAA. Keep up with teams and people who strive to make high school athletics in the state of Florida the best. Be a fan of it all by following us on social media at FHSAA.
I saw Andy Bean, Jeff, down there at halftime. He's been a long time Lakeland High School football fan and Lakeland resident as Jesse Williams kicks it 3 yards
golfing
deep.
great, of course.
He's made a pretty good living on the golf course, as you said.
Big news in sports media today, Tim, was the final show of the Mike and Mike on ESPN. You ever watch them?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. After 18 years, they did sports radio and sports TV together. There's Jesse Williams there. As he's got a lot of work tonight, a lot of extra points, a field goal, a lot of kickoffs. He might need to ice his leg.
Yeah, we said it was going to get a workout tonight. We kind of had that feeling, and did not prove us wrong, and has delivered in every sense. Some new, fresh jerseys out there for the Dreadnaught defense, so a chance for Sessoms and company to maybe get a few points on the board. 6 yards on first down, 2nd down and 4.
Deshaun Nixon made the tackle for the Dreadnaughts. The sophomore defensive back getting some run here in the fourth quarter.
Second down and 3, they gave him 7 yards. Sessom just kind of looks a little like a junior high school player out there on the high school just because of his size. But he's continued to fight, and that time throws a nice ball to number 6. A beautiful pass to Hunter Helton on the sideline.
Nixon with the tackle again to Sean Nixon and back-to-back plays. Just want to give a shout-out to 2 of our big fans out of Colorado, Owen and Olivia Reed. Hopefully you guys are watching along with your parents, Steve and Amy. Glad you guys are tuning in to watch nephew and cousin Robert tonight.
Flag coming in late as Sessoms delivers again a completion on the outside.
They seem to be working on to Sean Nixon over there. It made another tackle, and
yeah,
he broke on the ball. If he broke a little bit sooner, he might could have had a pick 6 even.
The winner of this game advances to next week's regional final, where we'll face the winner of the game between the Vieira Hawks and the Plant Panthers.
Well, I think it's safe to say, as they're announcing here at the stadium, that the winner of this game is going to play, obviously, the winner of the Plant Vieira game. And
it will definitely be at Bryant Stadium, a home game for sure.
Yeah, and this one is without much of a doubt, but the 8-7, an interesting score. I wonder if that's just that big of a defensive struggle, if they've had turnovers or what's happening in that game.
All right, partner. I know sometimes you go out of town Thanksgiving. You going to be here to do the game with me next Friday night, or you going to be out of town?
I'll be here. Yeah.
All right, very nice.
We're not doing our normal scamper to the mountains. We're actually going to do that a little bit later in the year as pass intended for number 11 over the middle, Devon Roberts.
Sessom had him open, just kind of
had a chance.
Let him a little bit too much, it was a little bit low, but he definitely had him open.
Third quarter, Vieira goes up 15-7.
Well, Vieira's kind of been at the top of the region all year, and we actually didn't pass him in the #1 seed until the last week of the year. Otherwise, we'd be playing Vieira next Friday night if Vieira ends up beating Plant.
Sessoms drops back, gets a lot of pressure.
That
tosses a nice catch, number 8, who's going to squirm his way, still not to the first down marker. But a nice play nonetheless from Sessoms, who got walloped at the end of that play. There's a flag over here on this near sideline, though. some 25 yards away from the actual play. They're going to wave the flag off, it looks like. No flag on the play. Third down. I have it marked as a second, but it is third down. Sessoms drops back, has a lot of receivers, throws it deep downfield, and then tipped and nearly caught, almost intercepted.
Should have been picked off. I'm not sure how that wasn't picked off.
Actually, the two best positioned players were, in fact, the Dreadnaughts to get that ball, but they kind of competed against each other a little bit there, Jeff, and knocked it away. And then it bounced up, and actually the receiver had a chance at it. Well defensed. Fourth down and 15.
The defensive backs had good coverage. They're right there, but they just didn't really make a play on the ball. You got to make a play on the ball.
Drop back pass again. Sessoms looking downfield every time. Fires and hit as he lets go of the ball. Incomplete. So why not going for it on fourth down? The Dreadnaughts will take over, though, after the defensive stand.
Reserve tickets and general admission tickets will be on sale at Lakeland High School Monday, November 20th through Wednesday, November 22nd.
Only 9:21 p.m. Eastern Time. And we only have 6 quick minutes left. They just take a brief timeout for water, and then they gun it again. So it shouldn't stop until we hit 0.
You almost don't need the hydration breaks when you're running clock. But we'll take a short commercial break and be right back with you.
The FHSAA encourages the more than 260,000 students participating in interscholastic athletics.
Bartow Ford is proud to announce that we've won the President's Award for the 19th time. You would need to leave the state of Florida to find a dealer that's won it more. Sales volume and customer satisfaction is how you win. And let's face it, you wouldn't sell a lot of vehicles if you didn't offer the lowest price around and take care of customers the very best. But why don't I have them up on the wall? Because a long time ago, my father taught me that our people are what make the difference. Other dealerships, they can have their gimmicks and games. We'll take people that care. Bartow Ford, we're different, and we prove it.
Next play in for the Dreadnaughts, though, we have a new quarterback, and we have a fumbled snap. So it might be his only play tonight.
Are you getting paid by the word for the reading of the?
Turnover. We fumbled the snap there, so the Dreadnaught defense have to come back out on the field. If I was getting played by the reading these nonstop,
I was going to say you wouldn't stop reading.
All right, here we go. Tonight's game, the 2017 FHSAA Class 7A Football Championship is sponsored by the Florida High School Athletic Association. The FHSAA is a democratic organization with a membership of more than 800 middle and senior high schools, all committed to ensuring that Florida student athletes can compete fairly and equitably in an educational environment. The Florida High School Athletic Association, building leaders through teamwork, sportsmanship, and citizenship. So can we keep the shutout intact, Tim? That's the question.
Will we or won't we? The second team defense in there, they did a good job of holding as Sessoms came out firing downfield, a few near interceptions. And maybe we can pick one off here as he drops back again over the middle, fired it, and nearly picked off, as we said. Number 16 upset that he did not bring that one in.
Tayshawn
Nixon
played really good since he's been in the game here in the second half. He'll be probably maybe a starter next year as a junior, just a sophomore.
Looks like he's got a good head for being around the ball, which is always a good skill to have.
We want to thank Young Life again for being our sponsor tonight of tonight's game. And, of course, we'll need a sponsor for next week's game. And if we win next week, another one for in 2 weeks. It does cost money for us to broadcast these games to you. We have to pay a fee to the FHSAA. And so if you're interested in sponsoring a game, feel free to email me at jeff@lakelandfootball.com, and we can chat and get something worked out.
Jeff, if that sponsor steps up and if they even want to be interviewed for a brief time at halftime, we can even talk to them a little bit.
Yeah, that's part of the deal. Yeah, part of the deal. You get to be interviewed at halftime. Absolutely.
Tell us about what you do in the community and your business, if that's what you would want.
And the Young Life representative can't be here tonight. That's one of the reasons why we interviewed Stephanie Madden, because they've been involved in Young Life quite a bit. Once again, that's Jeff, Jeff, at lakelandfootball.com if you would like to sponsor next week's game or the following week if we're able to win next week. And, of course, we can't do the state championship game if we make it that far. We'll be there in attendance rooting them on, but we won't be able to broadcast that.
They don't allow it. Kind of a sidearm pass down the sideline. Number 2's got some speed and some room. It's knocked out of bounds there around the 16-yard line.
I guarantee you, Coach Buldini and these starters for the Lakeland defense want to keep the shutout intact. You know, they don't want to see the backups give up a score.
There's
a flag.
Even with the flag, though, the clock is going. So
this might be coming back.
The coach is all pointing to the clock. But with a running clock, that's just what it does. It runs.
They're going to pick the flag up, so no flag on the play. So the Bulls will have the ball down in the red zone, which I think the first time they've been in the red zone all night.
First time they've been inside the 35, I think.
That's how dominant the Dreadnaught defense has been tonight. So my good friend Keith Corney texted a while ago, Tim, that this is kind of a message we're sending to Vieira and Plant. They look at the score, 52-0. So we'll see if Lakeland can follow up and have another strong performance next week. Fake the shovel pass this time.
Oh, grab the jersey. Nice defensive play just by the claws. Pulls them out. They're inching ever so close, Jeff. Will they get the moral victory? Will the Dreadnaughts hold? That is the storyline here with 1:27. Second down and 3 for the first down.
All right, here you go,
Horse
Tim.
Again. Come on, defense. Sessoms fires. Oh, it should have been picked off right in the hands of a Naught and then out.
Good deflection, though.
Yeah.
Good pass break out there. Great job tonight by the Lakeland High School band, as always.
Yeah, they've done fabulous. And part of what they express is they just have fun, and you can tell that through the music, which is the way it should be. They did great on the field, performed confidently, and then also had a lot of fun, which is great. 3rd and 3. 33 seconds on the clock. Sessoms, maybe his last chance, launches one to the sideline, overthrown. This will be their last chance on a 4th down.
And they might not even get it off unless they call timeout to stop the clock. They're going to call timeout.
I don't know why wouldn't they. Yeah.
Of course, they could get a 1st down here, but I'm sure they'll be throwing in the end zone, I would imagine. So a couple more things to read here. For the latest official news about Florida high school sports, including results of all rounds in the 2017 FHSAA Football Championships, visit FHSAA.org, the official website of the Florida High School Athletic Association. That's www.fhsaa.org. Catch live and on-demand postseason coverage of Florida high school sports at www.fhsaanetwork.com. Brought to you by the NFHS Network, the official online partner of the FHSAA. All right, Tim, here we go.
Here we go. 15 ticks on the clock.
Kind of the last chance here for the Bulls to get some points.
So they could get a 1st down, but time is going to run out on them if they're not careful. And here we go. A little bit of drama in the end of the game. Sessoms drops back, fakes it, and throws an incomplete pass.
He had him open. If he's able to get the ball to him, I think he probably
timeout. They can call another timeout.
No, it's 4th down.
Oh,
so
that's right. Doesn't matter. They did call a timeout, but clock stopped with 4 seconds left.
If Sessoms could have gotten the ball to him, he actually think he would have scored in that play because he had some blockers out in front of him, but just kind of short on that ball. and could not get it to him.
Good job, D, and they're just going to run the clock off, Jeff, and that'll do it.
Your
The
finals?
Naughts.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the Dreadnaughts here at Bryant Stadium. The regional semifinal of the FHSAA Road to the state championships. Your Dreadnaughts coming away with a 52-0 definitive victory over Wiregrass Ranch Bulls.
Now it's time for the Agni Family Dental postgame show. Tim, I'm going to leave it with you up here. I'm going to head down to the field and get ready for some interviews, and I trust your judgment for the players of the game. You got a lot of options tonight, my friend.
Oh, he's doing it to me, just leaving. All right, we can muster up something. Thanks. All right, as Jeff goes down, as you always traditionally see, we allow you as a glimpse and a peek at the post-game festivities. First and foremost, good sportsmanship always in high school football as they shake hands as the Wiregrass Bulls season comes to an end here at Bryant Stadium. Back in Black playing on the loudspeakers here at Bryant Stadium. The Naughty-tron has never looked better with a 52-0 score.
Okay.
So Jeff Goddard does make his way down, and he's going to scrounge up a couple interviews, and so it's my job to bring to you the players of the game. So we did not discuss this, so we'll see if we have some telepathic broadcasting something going on here to where he picks who I pick for it. No, it doesn't have to be interviewed by the players of the game. That's not a rule, as the Bulls and the Naughts take a knee at midfield for a bit of a time of thanks. Not sure if Mr. Goddard has the microphone down there in earshot or not. It is a week of Thanksgiving, as the holiday, Thanksgiving holiday, just a few short days away. Short work week next week, as the Naughts and the Bulls give thanks just to be able to play high school football in the great county of Polk in the great state of Florida. 52-0 your final score, as I am going to, we've got to give Jesse Williams certainly special teams or offensive player of the game. Jesse has not been interviewed, but has been an integral part of the team and has been very consistent all season. Tonight, perfect on extra points with a 36-yard field goal, I believe it was, to end the first half. And just kind of his enthusiasm and consistency. I'm going to give the special teams award to Jesse Williams, or even the offensive player, with an honorable mention to Whitehead. He just, I believe, really dominated and set the tone for this game in the first half. Even though Kavaris Thomas came on strong, so lots of names here, but Antonio Whitehead, I think, proved himself. So Jesse Williams, Antonio Whitehead, and on defense, number 96 was all over tonight, Latrell Jean. Maybe a bit of an unusual call. Thomas playing well on defense tonight. Some turnovers. AJ was all over the place. But sometimes those unsung heroes, those linemen don't quite get the call because they're not quite up front in the spotlight as much. But we'll shine a little spotlight on Latrell Jean, number 96, the 11th grade defensive lineman who had a great game tonight. So there you have it. Latrell Jean, the defensive player of the game. On offense, Antonio Whitehead and our kicker, Jesse Williams. I see Jeff Goddard, and he does, in fact, have one Jesse Williams walking alongside him, unless that's just a quinky dink. He may be interviewing one of the offensive players. And he did mention he would like to get number 22 involved in the post-game interviews, DeMarcus Bowman. Got to remember, guys, I've been getting on DeMarcus a little bit for maybe not having quite the games he had in the middle of the season, but he's a 10th grader, folks. So that's very encouraging. And as fireworks go off in the north end zone as the Lakeland High School band plays the alma mater. And we are going to go ahead amidst the alma mater and fireworks down to Jeff Goddard. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Goddard down the field with DeMarcus Bowman, the sophomore tailback, and Jesse Williams, the senior kicker. We'll start with you, DeMarcus. Take me through that 55-yard touchdown run you had there. You use your speed to get the outside, and you saw a cutback lane there.
I don't know. It was just really with the blockers and the receivers and stuff with the outside block. We've been practicing it all week in practice. And, just trying to get the outside because they run a 5-man front, so we just find a way to kill them.
How important is it to have patience as a running back, letting your blocking develop and then to follow it?
It's real important because, your lineman is not fast as you, so you got to give them time to get there and make blocks and open holes for you.
So on the broadcast this year, Tim and I have talked some about your running style and trying to compare you maybe to previous Dreadnaught running backs. Maybe a little bit like AJ, maybe a little bit like Chris Rainey, maybe somewhere in between. How do you view yourself as your running style maybe compared to other Dreadnaught greats in the past?
I don't know. I try to put a little bit of all of them into one, so I just watch film of all of them and, try to do what I do.
All right, thanks, DeMarcus. I appreciate it. Jesse, senior year, you have a powerful leg. We talk about all the time about the kicks into the end zones, and you've had some chance the last couple weeks to kick some field goals. Big one against Winter Haven last week, then I think a 37-yarder tonight. Talk about the difference between a field goal and extra point. Obviously, extra point is well within your range. Some of these longer field goals, is your approach different at all, or is it the same no matter?
No, sir. I just try to kick every kick the same. So that's why you see a lot of the extra points go up there and hit the scoreboard or just everything. Just keep it same repetition every single day in practice and game. Just same thing, don't miss.
Repetition is key, like a free throw shooter in basketball as well. What about what's your range? How far of a field goal do you think you can kick if the game's on the line and Castle needs a field goal? It sends you out there to win a game. How deep can you go?
Well, self-plug, if you check my Twitter @ActuallyJesse, you can see me kicking a 65-yarder out here at Bryant the other day.
In pads?
No, not pads, not pads.
All right, so game situation in pads, how far do you think you can kick a field goal?
We did it at practice. We warm up from 60, and then the other day I was 2 for 2 from 65 with a little bit of wind. But
so the real question is, what distance does Coach Castle have confidence in you to put in the game? What do you think?
I don't know. Castle's a little bit iffy about the field goal sometimes, but I feel like if it really came down to it in a clutch situation, maybe around, because he's seen me kick a 60, so I think in a clutch situation when we had to, he let me kick the 60.
All right, well, I might ask him about that here in a few minutes. Right. Now, what about the kickoffs? Do you always try to kick it as far as you can, or sometimes do you try to do it where they have to catch it, then maybe do 2 or 3 and have to return it?
Well, most of the time I try to kick it as far as I can unless I'm told otherwise, but a lot of the times it's wind is a big factor in kicking it, because if you kick it too high, the wind will pull it back or drop on the one. So most of the times I either just try to kick it high and deep, or I just try to drill it in the end zone, or kick it low, let it roll for a second. Just whatever the coach is needing, depending on the wind.
I got your last question. Do you want to try to kick in college next year?
Yes, sir. That's a big goal.
All right, well, keep up the good work. I'm sure you will. Thanks, Jesse. We'll be back with Coach Castle in a few minutes.
Thanks, Jeff Goddard, up here in the press box. That was an interesting interview. I found some neat points in there. First, DeMarcus Bowman, the 10th grader, who says he just kind of tries to do what he does, but he does watch some of the styles of maybe the past Dreadnought players, and certainly does his thing very well for a 10th grader. So a lot of good things to come if he can stay healthy. But then you may not get to hear from the kickers all the time. And something that was interesting to me is even by the way he talks, he's a little bit more disciplined. And it takes that type of maybe attitude and behavior to be a kicker, first of all. Consistency, he talked about, just doing the same thing Jeff mentioned, almost like a free throw shooter, just practicing over and over again. And Jesse just said, my job is just to make it. So just kicking them over and over and keep making them. And so he does have aspirations to go into college and continue his kicking career. And I think a college would be foolish not to look at Jesse, as you heard him say also in practice and on his Twitter feed. Just the other day, without pads, kicked a 65-yarder, but if need be, in pads, could kick a 60-plus yarder. So very interesting, and I don't doubt him at all. Confident young man who's been a great player stepping in for the Naughts and the kicking. Still probably working on his punting game, but in fact, with that foot on from the ground on, just an amazing thing to watch. Almost like poetry is Jesse Williams, who now we can just call George Williams, right? George Jesse Williams. Renaming people at the end of the year, that doesn't matter. But anyways, Jesse doing a fantastic job, and as Coach Castle now is probably getting set to have that interview with our own Jeff Goddard. We'll send it down in a few minutes. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We are here. The advantage of being #1 in the seed and that we were at the end of the season is that you get to stay home through this part of the playoffs. So it looks like from right now we don't have a final score, but Vieira, last we heard, was on top 15-7. I don't know if that's gone final or not, but a very close game. Vieira and Plant. Vieira was just behind us in the rankings, so it will be a whale of a game if that holds here next week at Bryant Stadium. So get your tickets early. We talked about a couple possibilities for you. I mentioned throughout the game at Marshall's Jewelers. You can go throughout the week. Keep in mind it's a short week here with the holiday coming up on Thursday. And then, of course, you can also, Monday through Wednesday, go outside the offices at Lakeland High School. And from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, you can get your reserved tickets or general admission tickets there as well. So hopefully that's helpful to you. We hope you enjoyed the offensive display put on tonight. It's something we haven't seen in many weeks now. So as we look at the scores from Lakeland in the beginning and middle part of the season, we saw some 50s and 40s put up. Good to be back in the 50s, which we have not been in quite some time. So, wow. So we just got an update. Plant making a little bit of a rally. End of the third. 15-15 is the score right now. So keep posted. I don't know, maybe Michael Barrett could on Twitter update you on a final score once we have that. But right now, tight one, 15-15, could go either way. Plant and Vieira. Still don't know who Lakeland's going to be playing here next week at Bryant Stadium. So stay tuned for that as well. Just a little bit of rundown on the season. The Naughts did go undefeated in the regular season. We had an interesting storm season, as many of you may know and still remember. Still some brush around from Hurricane Irma, if you can believe that or not. Just tons and tons of brush that have had to be picked up. And still, I'm sure the rats love that and have made their homes in some of that. But still showing some of the effects of that, as we did at Lakeland High School. Just some rain delay storms, as we saw. Very kind of volatile in the beginning of the year. Had a complete cancellation, of course, of a game. The Naughts, though, undefeated. And so one of the few teams that remained undefeated now through the second game of the playoffs. Hence why they got the #1 seed. So they just have to play like it, right? And continue. They did that tonight. They're going to have to continue that in a big way next week. We're talking completely different type of ball game next week against a completely different type of opponent that will be facing in either Vieira or Plant. A lot more playoff experience as well in those two teams, as well as the coaching experience. So the Naughts will have to keep that momentum strong. So we do have Jeff, hopefully, because I'm ready to go home and get some vittles. So hopefully Jeff's wrestling down Coach Castle, and we'll have that for you in just a few moments. Did he get lost in the tundra, Michael? Is he just wandering around the field? And oh, there you go. See, Mike Nichols, who is a notoriously very good person to talk to for a long period of time. We'll just put it that way. No, we love Mike. And we have him, Coach Castle and Jeff Goddard. Take it away, guys.
All right, Jeff Goddard back in the field with Coach Bill Castle. Victorious 52-0 tonight over at Wiregrass Ranch. I'm sure you didn't expect it to be that easy. Talk a little bit about the game tonight, Coach.
Gosh, we sure didn't. And, you know, it was a great night for the Dreadnaughts. Offense, defense. I mean, first half, gosh, I think we scored either 4 or 5 drives where we just had one play right there, you know. Whitehead made a great run. You got to give our offensive line credit, you know. Did a great job. Bowman made a really long run, and Kavars seemed to be on target tonight. And when he's on target, I mean, good things happen.
So the game tonight was in stark contrast to the nail-biter last week against Winter Haven. You had to have some late-game magic. Do you think that maybe last week's game kind of refocused the team at all, got them ready to play this week?
Well, it's two things. One is I just think it showed how good Winter Haven was. They had a really good football team, and you know, and then we just you got to give our kids credit tonight. They did come out and play hard. You know, our defense, of course, they've been playing hard all year, but they did a really good job tonight.
The defense has been solid all year. The best performance by the offense in several weeks, and maybe Kavaris' best game since earlier in the year. Talk a little bit about Kavaris' performance and maybe what made a difference for him.
You know, I'd rather not see him jump when he hurdled that guy down there, but that was a heck of a showed his athletic ability right there. But he's a strong passer, and you know, when he gets times, you know, he can do some good things with the ball, and you know, it's good to see him come back, and hopefully we can continue being in that type of rhythm.
Now, we interviewed Jesse Williams a while ago, the kicker, and I asked him, I said, what's your range? And he said, you know, I could do 60 yards. I said, but what range does Coach Castle have confidence in you to send you out? How long of a field goal would you feel comfortable putting Jesse out there if it's, you know, late game situation, we need a field goal to maybe win a game?
You know, Jesse, yeah, he's kicked. One day he kicked 67 with a you know, had a strong wind behind him. But you know, it's a couple of scenarios. There is, you know, can we protect when you're that far out and make sure you don't get it blocked, and you know, in the right situation, we definitely you know, have a lot of confidence in him. He's been definitely an asset to our football team this year with his kickoffs and his field goals.
No doubt about it. So last question, Coach. We just got word that Vieira and Plant are tied at 15. We played them each of the last 2 years. 2 years ago, we lost to Vieira in this season. Last year, Plant. But those are both on the road. Good thing is next week will be at Bryant Stadium against the winner. What are your thoughts about next week's game and a tough matchup against either Vieira or Plant?
Hey, we're just glad to be in the third round coming up, and they're both tough football teams, and you know, it'll be a tough one next week, regardless of which one we have to play.
Thank you very much, Coach, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Jeff Goddard back.
Thanks, Jeff Goddard. Great interview with Coach Bill Castle again as Jeff rounds out his interviewing here in the regional semifinal, and we'll round things out as well up here in the press box. Good thanks again to Young Life for being our sponsor tonight, and we thank them very much and all that they do for the community. Naughts win, as you can see up there on the board, 52-0, and we truly, sincerely hope that all of you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, any time with family that you get to spend. We just wish blessings on you and your family, good health, and enjoy that time. It's precious, as time is just short. So we thank you for joining us. We consider you certainly all part of the Dreadnaught family, and we're just so appreciative to all our sponsors. And so with that, Tim Conti, Jeff Goddard, Michael Barrett will wrap things up here. 52-0 your score. On to the regional finals against Plant or Vieira next Friday. Who will it be? Stay tuned. Watch the webcast here live next week. Thank you. God bless and good night, everybody.